Everybody, welcome to the Jim Masters Show Live. How are all of you? I can't believe all the people that are already here. That is fantastic. I'm seeing the comments here. That is awesome. We welcome all of you. I'm your host, Jim Masters. This is the Jim Masters Show Live. Really cool name, considering that's my name, right? Good to have you with us. Lovities all around the world. That's what our viewers are called, the Lovities. We reach an international audience. We've been doing this show and this series, which is an entertainment lifestyle talk show series, now for about 37 weeks, which is extraordinary. It's sort of born out of my work and my career in television and radio and stage as a television and radio presenter, host, personality on TV and radio, as well as a radio host and journalist, actor, writer, producer, voiceover artist, narrator, stage MC. We turned on the lights. We built a home studio here 37 weeks ago, and we're coming into your lives and you're coming into ours. And we love this. This is an entertainment lifestyle talk show series that's patterned after some of the older talk shows you may remember, where we're bringing back the lost art of conversation, but with the modern sensibilities and cool vibe of today. So I do this work professionally, and then we created this show 37 weeks ago, 200 plus episodes. You can see them all on our YouTube channel at Jim Masters TV. We'll hope that you'd subscribe to our YouTube channel as well, which is really cool. So many people are doing that. You can see all the episodes back to back to back. A lot of people have been binge watching our series, which is really cool. We're all about light, love, and levity, or as we call it, lovity. Once I said love and levity together, and all of a sudden I came up with levity and lovity and then lovity. And everybody was like, my God, cool. I love that word. Keep that word. So we use Lovity on the show. All the viewers call themselves Lovities. They call me Mr. Lovity, and they welcome all of our guests. And we have amazing guests from all over the world, from music and television and film, Broadway, Hollywood, health, wellness, science, culinary arts, chefs, comedy, authors, inspirational people. We take the show on location. We do pop-up shows. We do shows every single day. Our regularly scheduled time is 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific. But when we have a special guest who's overseas or in a later time zone, we do an extra show earlier, like we're doing right now. It's 3 p.m. Eastern here. It's noon Pacific on the west coast of the U.S. and Canada, but it's 8 p.m. in Ireland, Scotland, England, Portugal, where our guest is right now. Yes, the one and only Keith Harkin. Great friend. I've known Keith for a long time, ever since, of course, Celtic Thunder was originally formed. Interviewed him many times, and all the lads from Celtic Thunder when they came into the PBS TV studios. We've all stayed connected, Celtic Thunder, Celtic Woman, all the Irish artists. We've just stayed connected, which is a rare thing in this industry. So it's really cool to have him here on the show, and we welcome all of you. And we're going to have him on in just a second. Thanks for all the lovity and all the tagging and the sharing. And we're here every day for you with this Entertainment Lifestyle Talk Show series. What am I doing? It looks like I'm doing some sort of like psychic move or something. This is our toast to all of you and you and you and you and you. We welcome you. This is a high-class show, you know, so we toast you in style. Nice and refreshing. Good to see everybody, all the lovities. Let's say a quick hello to our audience. How do you like our festive holiday theme here? Our set, which was built in my home. We broadcast this show in the United States out of the greater New York area along the southern New England coast between New York and Boston in the United States. And we welcome everybody. So we built not only the set, but we have a real festive holiday seasonal decor going on here. Good to see everybody. Marilyn is here. Good afternoon, Jim and all our lovelies. Welcome, Keith, to Lovely Hall. Absolutely. Marilyn is watching in Wichita, Kansas. Nan Milligan is here. Happy Saturday, one and all. Good to have you with us, Nan. Mary Bishop in Florida, USA. Hello, Jim and Keith Lovelies. Another great afternoon. Yes, I know. We had Emmett O'Hanlon last night. This coming Friday, Sir James Galway is going to be with us at 3 p.m. Eastern with Lady Jean Galway, live and direct from their home in Switzerland. Keith is in Portugal right now. Of course, he's originally from Ireland, lives out in LA, but he's in Portugal right now. Good to see you, Mary. Sean is here. Hello, Jim and Keith, watching on our YouTube channel. We welcome everybody watching all over the world, and comments galore. We're going to go through a couple of them and then we'll show them. Keep posting, keep commenting, and we will post them during the course of the live show. Keith is going to perform. We're going to have some great Irish crack. Hello, Jim and Lovedies. Joey, good to see you as well. And welcomes Keith. Glad to be here. You make my weekend. Bernadette is here. Hello, Jim and fellow regulars and all Lovedies. Kathy is here. Hi, Keith and Jim. Looking forward to a fantastic show. Happy holidays to you as well, Kathy. Shirley is here. Hello, Jim. Thank you for having Keith Harkin on today. My pleasure. Keith and I have been putting this together for quite a while, and I'm glad it all came together for all of you and for all of us. Really cool. Sue Schneider is here. One of my pets is dying and I need to pick me up this holiday season. Well, we are here to do that. This show is all about positivity, inspiration, and levity, Sue. So you stick with us on this show and all of our shows. That's what we're all about. Good to have you here, Sue. Meg, hi, Jim. Enjoyed Emmett O'Hanlon last night. Really geared up for Keith. Thanks for having him. My pleasure. Good to see you, Meg. Everybody watching on our YouTube channel, again, we would love it if you subscribe to the channel at Jim Masters TV. That would be awesome. That way you don't miss any of the cool episodes of our series. Guinness Girl is back. Hi, Jim and Keith and Lovedies from Seattle. Good to have you in Seattle, USA. Everybody greeting each other as well. Thank you for the show. Jim and Keith, our pleasure. Kathy, Sherry is here. Hello, Jim and Lovedies everywhere. So excited for this afternoon show. Welcome, Keith, to Lovedy Hall. Glad you're here with us today. We are broadcasting live right now around the world on our YouTube channel at Jim Masters TV, home to the Jim Masters Show Live. Good to see you, Sean. And again, Nan is here. Kathy Short from Cleveland, Ohio. Good afternoon, Jim and Lovedies from Cleveland. Good to have you with us. And yeah, you can binge watch any of the past episodes on our YouTube channel. Josie's here. Hi, all. Good to see you, Josie. Petra is here. Hi, Jim, Keith, and everyone from Germany. Good to see you in Germany as well. And Shirley says, hello, everyone from East Tennessee. East Tennessee, USA is in the house. We love that. Josie says, hello, lovely crew. And Merlin in Canada. Ontario says, ho, ho, ho. Good day, Jim and all Lovedies. Sue is in Puerto Vallarta, Mexico. We love it. Hola to you as well, Sue. Janet is back again. Hello again, Jim, and welcome, Keith. Happy holidays to you both. Good to have you with us as well, and so many more. Mona is here. Hello, Jim and Lovedies. And Christy is here. Hello, everyone. And and Tina is here. Hello from Pocono Mountains, Pennsylvania, USA. Welcome to Lovedy Hall, Keith. I told him all about Lovedies and Lovedy Hall and how it works on the show, so he said he's all set to accept as much levity as you can lay on him, like you lay on me all the time, and I absolutely love it. Let me tell you about our great guest. We're going to go through some more of the comments, but we have so much we want to get to with our cool friend Keith. Look at this shot, huh? Don't you love that shot? That's one of his more recent headshots. Let me tell you about him. Of course, you guys know all about him. Keith is an Irish singer, of course, extraordinaire, and songwriter as well. And he hails from Derry City, Ireland, now residing in Los Angeles. His voice is big, powerful, unforgettable, with songwriting skills way beyond his years. His sound, that Americana singer-songwriter country vibe with an Irish twist, and well-earned guitar skills as well. Over the last 15 years, his talents have brought him across the world, Canada, Europe, Australia, America, including shows for President Obama at the White House, Sir Richard Branson as well, and that's on Necker Island, Secretary of State at the Pentagon, Mohamed Ali at Celebrity Fight Night, and performing national anthems at the Garden for the Boston Celtics in Boston, Massachusetts, just to name a few. And during his time touring the United States, he gained recognition from multi-Grammy Award-winning producer David Foster. And I've had an opportunity to chat with David. David is wonderful. He also has a witty, dry sense of humor. Love David. Then went on to, of course, sign Keith as the first artist to the new Verve Records in LA. Keith, of course, that's where he released his first solo album with Foster and Verve Records, where they reached a soaring #1 spot on the Billboard charts in Canada and the US over the past 5 years. Since his first release, all 4 of Keith's solo records have been ranked in the top 10 charts on iTunes, Billboard, and Amazon in both Canada and US. Of course, Keith, also lead singer from the beginning of the Irish sensation Celtic Thunder from Fruition, which had huge success with over 15 #1 records worldwide, over 1 million in CD sales, and of course, numerous PBS television specials and extensive world tours. And that is initially where Keith and I actually met each other. was when he came in with the guys, with the lads from Celtic Thunder, and joined us in the studio for a number of the PBS specials. So, I've stayed friends with all of the guys, Damien and Keith and Neil and Ryan and Colum and, all of them. And of course, originally George too. We're going to welcome him right now. He's live and direct from Portugal. Hey, Keith, good to have you with us, my friend. Good to see you again.
What's happening, Jim? It is my pleasure to be here, and hello to everybody who's listening. Hello to all the lovelies that's here and everybody else.
I tell you, the lovelies have been chatting like all day long here, and they're welcoming you. Sherry says joining in today from West Central Ohio, where the sun is shining, but the wind is howling. Kim says, hi, everyone. Good to see you, Kim, watching on the YouTube channel as well. Merlin says she's in Canada, Ontario. Welcome, Keith, to the land of lovelies. You're now a lovely. Willie, who's watching in the Netherlands, one of our regular lovelies. Hello, everybody. Greetings from Holland, which is really, really cool. So many people from all over the world. Harkin Army in full force with Guinness Girl. Meg is checking in from Boston. Lou says this is going to be fun. Absolutely. And so much lovely coming in here. We got Western New York is covered too. Hello, everyone, from Jennifer Ross. And Judith says hi from Kansas. Sending you lots of lovely here. And hello from a cold Colorado, 26 degrees there. Kim says hi. Pamela says hi from Las Vegas. Good to see you as well. Mary says hi from Baltimore, Maryland. Linda's checking in from Michigan, USA. Joey, hello from Indiana. Bernadette saying hello as well. Juanita, one of our regular viewers and lovelies from South Africa. Hello, Jim, and all the lovelies. Lovely lovelies, welcome to the show, Keith. And this is really cool. Hello from Barbara. She's checking in. And we love to show the comments too, because the show is very viewer-centric and viewer interactive. Hello from the Pocono Mountains, Pennsylvania. Welcome to lovely Hall. Keith from Tina, which is really, really cool. And Linda says, wahoo. She's all excited to jumping around in her living room. And Ann Sullivan's here, says, excited to see Keith. Joey says, hey, Jim, doing great. That's awesome. So excited. Philip says, hello, Jim and Keith and all the lovelies. And Sherry says, really like your shirt today, Mr. Lovely. Cool. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. He's got a cool shirt too, Keith, doesn't he? And hi, Jim and Keith and all the lovelies from Kim and Linda Odell in St. Augustine, Florida. Good afternoon, Mr. Lovely. Good afternoon, lovelies. And Carol, hi, everyone. Excited for Keith. Hi, Jim. Glad to be here. Welcome, Carol, and everybody to the show. I'm here, as Soraya says. I love Keith Harkin. I'm glad he is here on the show. Cool stuff. Linda says, welcome, Keith. You're a lovely now. And we'll keep going with a few of these. Marilyn in Wichita, Kansas. Good afternoon, Jim, all our lovelies, and welcome, Keith, to Lovely Hall. So, my friend, how the heck are you? Happy holidays to you and the family. The last time we actually saw each other was in the public television studio, and we were chatting up lots of Irish crack and cool stuff. And a lot of really wonderful things and blessings have come into your life since then, Keith. Have you been, and especially during all this craziness of this nutty year we've been going through, how have you been doing?
I've been doing good, all things considered. Every now and again, you sort of sit quietly on your own and get wrapped up in all the madness that's happening around you, and you have to somehow sweep it under the carpet or brush it off. I don't think sweeping anything under the carpet's a good thing, but brush it off and pick yourself up and get on with it, because we don't know how long this is all going to go on for. So we just have to get on with it. Hence the reason why we're currently in Portugal. We have businesses in Ireland, and they were closed down like everybody else's businesses. And, Ireland was going to do another lockdown, and I have an old van. His name's Bobby. And over the lockdown in Ireland, I fixed Bobby back up. I've had him since I was 21 years old, and I gutted him and got it resprayed. And when the fresh lockdown just happened there in Ireland in the middle of October, we just jumped in the van and booked the first ferry to Portugal. And we've been here since then now. So that's been almost 2 months we're here.
That's incredible. And like you say, it's only a ferry trip across, which is really cool. You know, I think you've inspired other people with the van idea, because when Emmett O'Halloran was on last night, he said he wants to do that. And he was talking about you extensively and how you've done it so successfully. So he's looking at trying to fix something up and maybe do that as well. So you're inspiring others, my friend.
Yeah, that's amazing. I've lots of friends actually hit me up and they're like, "Man, you done the right thing." They're all like sitting at home in Ireland anyway, you know. And even my friends I lived in LA for 10 years, California. Everything's shut down. You can't go for a beer. You can't go to a restaurant. You know, it's whereas here in Portugal, you know, because the rates of the old COVID isn't as
Yeah.
bad. You know, things here are feel somewhat normal. Bars aren't open past 10:30 at night, or restaurants aren't open past 10:30 at night. But since we have a 19-month-old baby, 10:30 at night is well past our bedtime these days, so it doesn't really matter to us, you know. So we've been enjoying it, living in the van the past 2 months, and we just booked into this old Portuguese house now through Airbnb for the next just over Christmas, and then we're going to jump in the van again. And we don't know if we're going to turn left or right at the bottom of the road, but we're not going back to Ireland until February.
Yeah, yeah. So, right, it's some of the folks that I've been talking to in Ireland, and then here in the United States, it's really no better with everything. They're sort of stepping things back, you know, with closures and various things to, you know, deal with it all. But hey, Keith from Karen and Cape Breton, Nova Scotia. She's one of our regular lovelies too. We got Nan in San Antonio, Texas. Let's talk a little bit, maybe take us back a little bit to when you were a youth, Keith. What were some of those early inspirations in your life that pointed you in the direction of wanting to get into music, singing, songwriting, a fantastic musician? Was music, I know a lot of people that I've chatted with who are from Ireland specifically, probably Scotland too, they always say, and even some of my relatives, my father's mother's side from Ireland, that in Ireland they either put a fiddle in your hand or they put a guitar in your hand when you're a child, and you go from there. Did that happen to you too? Did you get the instrument handed to you and then you go from there early? Tell us about your youth and how you got started in music, my friend.
Yeah, well, I just threw my phone on the floor, but
hold all calls. He's busy. He's on the air.
Yeah, I mean, like, my parents weren't the kind of parents, you know, who forced me into learning a guitar or whatever. I always had a natural ability to sing. You know, my voice was something that's always come easy to me. I've never went to singing lessons or nothing like that. My whole life, I could just sing. You know, I was on a stage singing since I was 4 years old. My dad played guitar. My mom and dad are both massive music fans, you know, but my dad played guitar. He grew up playing in the clubs and pubs in Ireland and the sessions and parties, you know, like you say, everybody plays. So there was always a guitar in our house. And I just remember one day my dad was sitting there like 10, 11 years old. My dad was like, "Here, take the guitar and learn. This is a song." And it was a song called The Spinning Wheel, this old Irish song about a woman yarning wool together to make wool, they knit. The spinning wheel, it's called.
Yeah, yeah.
And I remember my dad sitting me down and learning those 3 chords. And then, you know, it's just at that age, I just got the bug for guitar, and I just played and played and played and played and played. And I mean, I'm still the same now. I've actually, during this lockdown, oddly, I've been playing more guitar than I've played over the past 4 or 5 years. You know, when you're on tour, oddly enough, you don't play much guitar. You know, if you're in the van or if you're driving, you're normally working when you're on tour. Then the guitars, your good guitars, get put back in their cases after the gig and put in the back of the van. And in order to get them out of the tour wagon, you have to get all the gear out. So you're not really playing much when you're on tour apart from the show. So this year, I've seen they have been playing more guitar than I've ever played, and it's been quite nice, to be brutally honest, you know. But yeah, I mean, I've been playing and singing my whole life. My dad plays guitar, and so, but luckily enough, they weren't those kind of parents that were like, "You need to, you know, do this and do that." Maybe they were tricking me, you know, because I was the kind of kid. If you told me to do one thing, I done the opposite. So they were probably just like I would do now to my son, like just put it there and hopefully, you know, sneakily make him play it.
So what was the kind of music early on when you were a kid that you really liked? Well, who were some of the artists and some of the genres of music, Keith, that really turned you on early?
I mean, Britpop was huge when I was like 10, 11 years old, and I hate to admit it, but when I was that age, I was a kid, I loved like Oasis and Blur and the Verve. There was a band from Scotland called Travis, who actually had a couple of really good hits in the States too. I think Glenn Campbell covered a few of Travis's songs. Oddly enough, I've always been a massive fan of Glenn Campbell. My dad
Yeah.
listened to all the old stuff. Like anybody's families into music, they listen to the Neil Young and the Glenn Campbell and the Hank Williams and Johnny Cash.
All the country sounds, yeah.
All the country stuff. Country was so big in Ireland, and still is so big in Ireland today. Those kind of people were massive stars in Ireland. And but then again, my mum had, she was a young girl, so she loved the likes of the pop stuff like the Lionel Richies and all that. I was luckily in our house that there was always a great combination of the classics and then the current stuff as well.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. So you've had some great exposure. What was early on for you? One of the early breaks, what you would consider where the doors started opening up. Did you perform or compete in like any contests and different things? How did you get yourself rolling early on in your career, Keith? Because it's, difficult work.
Yeah, it is. I mean, career-wise, I was playing in bars full time, which isn't a great career, and I'm not knocking anybody that does it, but when you want to become like your own solo artist, you can fall into the trap and become very comfortable of playing in bars all the time and taking the easy money and going home and drinking too much too. When you're playing in bars all the time, it's very handy for people buying you a beer. And if you're playing 5-6 nights a week, it's not a good place to be unless you're going to take it as a career and not do that end of it. But I remember playing in a bar one night. I won't name the bar in my hometown in Derry. And I had a residency in it on a Sunday night, and there was a huge screen on the stage, that played soccer or whatever. And I was in setting up at 6 o'clock on a Sunday. And at that time, I was only like 17 or 18 years old. So in Ireland at that age, you're out partying every weekend, and you go out on a Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and you're out all weekend at that age. And come Sunday, I was never really in good mood doing this show at 6 o'clock, loading your gear and grumpy in the bar. Nobody cared about what you were singing or anything like that. And this barman was watching the top 100 funniest YouTube clips on the big screen. And I was setting up and tuning up, and I had to start playing the music. And I was playing the music, and I didn't realize he still had the 100 funniest YouTube clips on behind me. And half the bar was like watching me, and I'm sitting there giving it socks. When I realized they were all laughing.
Yeah.
And I realized that at the end of the first song, and I asked the barman, I was like, yo, can you please turn that off, man? Like, I'm up here trying to sing. You're showing people, catching on fire on the back of a motorbike, rolling into a smoke hole. I don't need this right now. And the guy argued with me, the barman argued with me, and I can't really remember what happened. I think I stopped for a while, and then my buddy who owned the bar came up and told that barman to leave, basically. But I remember that night sitting there playing it, and I was like, this needs to stop. I don't want to keep doing this forever. This isn't the way I learned the guitar and way I actually started singing, So I just started doing more selective shows at the age of 17, 18. And then one day an audition popped up in London, or in Derry City from my hometown, to produce and record an album in London with a producer called Andy Wright. And I went to a place called the Nerve Centre in Derry, and went there and auditioned for this show. And Andy really liked my original one song that I had at the time and took me to London. And we had an absolute blast. I ended up going to London. It was supposed to be for 2 or 3 weeks, and I ended up staying there for a year with the one backpack that I brought with me, and recorded in Metropolis Studios in London with Andy and Gavin Goldberg. And Andy was a very big producer at the time. He's got Grammy nominations. He's he recorded Jeff Beck, Pavarotti, Simply Red, all the Mick Hucknall stuff, and then he done all the pop stars too in the UK. Like I can't even remember the name of half of them, Natalie Imbruglia and stuff like that. So Andy was a pretty big deal, and I ended up hanging out there for the guts of a year with them in Metropolis Studios. And Metropolis at that time, and still is today, one of the biggest high-end fanciest studios around. And every day when I was there at 18 years old, everybody was there at that studio. The Sugar Babes, Richard Ashcroft was there one day sitting next to me, and he offered a couple of fries out of his McDonald's. He was like, "Hey kid, you want fries?" I was like, "Yeah, fries." You know, there was so many. Dido was there all the time. Kate Moss used to hang out there. You know, so at 18 years old, going from the bars and the scenes, and getting to see all that, like I knew then, I was like, this is why I learned how to play music. This is the level I want to be at in these big studios and working with these kind of people. And Andy and I, ever since, we've been great friends. Andy really believed in me at that age, and we've worked together on a bunch of stuff since then.
That's incredible. So then take us from there. Take us, you know, obviously you had those connections, you had those relationships being built, and people were recognizing early on, you know, this kid has some chops here. He knows what he's doing. He's really passionate about it. He really wants to do this. He's serious about it, and he's good at it. What were some of those opportunities from there going forward, Keith, that really started to open up those doors? Because you got in, you know, you got in early.
Yeah, I got in early. I mean, like when I moved back from London, I was 20 years old, rusted, busted, and disgusted from London. I was just wore out playing there and partying there, too young, and had
I love that expression: rusted, busted, and disgusted. I'm going to write that down and use that.
My dad always uses. He's like, I'm, you know,
rusted, busted, and disgusted.
But I was actually home in London having a beer with home in Ireland in Donegal, and I was back from London about a few months at this stage, and I flew over to work with Andy and Gav on a few songs over the weekend or something like that. It wasn't a long stretch, and then I went back to Ireland, and I was sitting at the bar having a few beers with my dad, and my dad was reading the newspaper, and sorry, that beer just really
that went right in, right in there and stayed there.
Yes. And he was reading the newspaper, and there was an audition for a thing in the newspaper called Celtic Man.
That's what originally, Phil Coulter was on, and he was mentioning that was, I think, going to be the original name. I think at one point was Celtic Man, because they had Celtic Woman first, right?
That was supposed to be the original name, and then there was some legal thing happened. I think they were copyrighting it because they were saying Celtic Woman, Celtic Man. I don't know. It wasn't not my job, but I think that's why it wasn't called Celtic Man. And my dad was like, "Yo, there's an audition for this Irish show. It's going to be a big production." And I was like a rocker, you know. I came from London in the studio, and I was like, "Dad, I don't really do auditions for you know big." I was like, "That's not my bag." And my dad, who you know, he was like, "He just go do it." And I was like, "I'm not going to do it. Like, I'm not going to do it. Simple as that." I hadn't even got the money for the taxi, and my dad phoned a taxi for me, and he was like, "Go get the guitar." So my dad paid the taxi man, and I went and got the guitar and rocked up to the audition. They were literally packing up the audition at the hotel, and I walked in, and I was like, "Is there an audition here for something?" And I auditioned. I was at the very end of the day, and at that very first audition, they actually told me, they were like, "Look, we haven't picked anybody yet, but you are exactly what we want, and we want you to be the first guy that we've chosen for the show, and we absolutely love what you're doing. We still need you to come to the other auditions and stuff to make it seem fair, but you're definitely through." And I was like, I remember thinking at the time, I was like, "All right, cool." And I left and went back and met my dad. And my dad was like, "What is it?" I was like, "I don't even know what it's for or what it is." They said the part I've got, but apparently I've got a part in some show. And that's how Celtic Thunder happened. They had one or two more auditions then, and we all one thing led to another, and we, you know, I don't know how many albums and songs and PBS stations and planets that we toured after that, but that's how Celtic Thunder started off for me.
So you were one of the first, right? Because you were with it from the very germ of the idea of Celtic Thunder, the very beginning, with George Donaldson, of course, who we pay heed to, one of the greats. Lost him too early. What was it like working with George? I asked some of the other guys when they were on, Ryan and Neil and Damien and the others, what it was like Paul, what it was like working with George. He really was sort of a true spirit, a real guiding force, wasn't he? That's what the guys were saying.
Yeah, I mean, it was, you know, we came from both worked at the factory. George, I can't believe it was just a but the fact that this place we're all from, ours is work a bus factory.
Yeah, his signal cut out. Yeah, he was having a little trouble. There he is. He's coming right back. There you are. Welcome back.
How far did you get on that ramble?
Just as soon as you said the word George.
Oh, really? Amazing. But no, basically what I was just saying was, it was amazing to watch George as he lived the same sort of life as my dad, working in a factory, working shifts his whole life, and going from that to a tour bus and traveling the world and being on TV stations and walking out on stage. From George went from playing one show on a Sunday night every week, and that was his only thing, his only outlet, to that's the kind of kick I used to get out of seeing. For me, I kind of oddly took it me straight. I was like, this is what I'm supposed to be doing, and I'm here and I'm ready to do this. And George was an older man with a family and a kid, and he was probably to a certain point going, this is my life now, and then it just went flip. And I used to always get such a kick out of George being able to come from, just having a regular job, and then, for him, he must have been pinching himself all the time.
Yeah, all the touring and all the travel and everything all of a sudden. And what was that like for you too? Because now all of a sudden, you're doing 70 city tours all across the United States, going into Canada, other places, and boom, 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 boom. And constant and, meets and greets and all these different things. You must have been pinching yourself too, huh?
100%. Yeah. I mean, looking back at the career that I've had, I'm only 34 years old now, and I don't even know. I've lost count of the amount of records that I've recorded, and I've lost count of the amount of shows and theaters, and, and it's crazy to think at that age. I always laugh whenever people post these photographs because they used to Photoshop me to be the same size as everybody else, but I'm way taller.
You're taller. No, I've yeah.
They always like Photoshop me in, and everybody's like, when people all meet me and fans meet me, they're like, you're really tall. I'm like, yeah, I know.
They even you out, I guess, right? Well,
I'm like a solid 4 or 5 inches on everyone there. Maybe not Emmett. Emmett O'Hanlon's a big dude.
Emmett's tall. Yeah, Emmett's tall as well. Well, we do have some proof in the pudding here too, because this was, I think, one of the first times where you and I had met when you came. You were here in the States, and I was interviewing you and all the guys from Celtic Thunder, and this was actually in the studio. This is you and I with Ryan when we were doing it. Yeah, in the early.
You guys are probably standing on boxes there, right?
No, I think that they probably put you in the part of the floor that slants down. That's probably what they did. And there's another great shot with Neil as well, who's a great lad too. And this is when we were again at the studio at Public Television, having a lot of Irish crack. I think we were laughing more than anything else. And you came so many times to the studio, and it was really great. And this was actually one of the first times that I had interviewed you on American television. It was really, really cool. And then also too, one of the concerts, I would MC the concerts for Celtic Thunder. And this is backstage with Damien and Colum as well, which was a lot of fun. So, really good times. And when you look back now, it's like, my God, time has really flown, hasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it's so funny, looking back at those photographs, I was just a kid. I was just a young pup. I mean, literally just a kid. Maybe not in the ones here where I'm a bit older, but
yeah,
like at 21, I think I was.
These shots here, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like 2007 was the first time we went to the States to do all the promo for all the CT stuff. So, I mean, I was only a young pup, 21.
That's amazing, isn't it? Right. And here you are thrust into this, and now you're, on American television and you're going all over the place. And it's really cool having more fun behind the scenes in the studio with the guys. And then this was, I think, the last time I saw you, which really wasn't that long ago. And this is when I believe we got Colin there, Damien, Neil, me, my co-host Lee, Emmett, O'Hanlon, you, and Ryan. And I believe this was when we were doing a national PBS special and I was co-hosting it. You guys were in the studio. And I think it was Legacy. I think that was for Legacy. And
Right.
which was really, really cool as well. But there you look a little bit taller than the guys, but maybe shrunk down a little. It shrunk down. But what was it like, the experience for you? Because I know folks watching are probably, especially the Celtic Thunder fans that are watching probably. What was it like for you? I've asked all the guys the experience. And what was it like working with the other lads? I mean, you guys, having been in the TV studio with you, having been emceeing and on stage and seeing you guys behind the scenes and seeing you do your thing, and you guys, every single one of you together, fantastic. But of course, individually, you all bring something unique to the table, and have with that group, you've all got your own solo careers and have carved your own niches out too, which is brilliant. But working with the various guys, it always came off like you guys really got along well, like you're brothers, like you've all been thrust into this amazing situation together, and you've made real good with it all. What was it like, the experience and working with the other lads in Celtic Thunder, the Ryan and George and Neil and everybody else?
Yeah, it was great. I mean, I think the producer Sharon done a really good job of putting the right people together. I think, the very original, that photograph there, the lineup of George and Damien and Paul and Ryan and myself, I think like that was without,
Damien's just a
not,
kid, yeah.
I feel like for the show purpose, that was like the best lineup. You had the opera guy, you had the surfer dude, you had the old man, you had Ryan, yet there were so many different sort of concepts to the show, but I feel like Sharon always done a great job of putting the right people together on stage, and that's the job of a producer. And being Irish as well, none of us really take much seriously, simple as that. So, no matter what job you have in Ireland, everybody tries to make the best of it and have a laugh pretty much all the time. That's what we like to do the most,
Right.
Unlike anything, you're living in each other's pockets every single day for years on end. Not every day was roses and cherries, but for the majority of it, it surely was,
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Any cool experiences that you remember? I mean, you guys were on a lot of buses together, that's for sure, going from place to place and city to city.
Yeah, I mean, like I was the worst for sure. Like if there was any chance of like sort of any party or anything happening on a bus, I was trying my best to fuel the fire 24/7. If
That's what I
I
had
was
heard. That's some of the other guys pretty much said that. Yeah. But always
yeah, I
making
mean,
it fun.
yeah, I mean, yeah. Again, at 21 years old, getting a single 21-year-old guy getting paid fair money to go on tour. I wanted to have a good time. I didn't go there to learn German on my time off. I went there to party and sing and play music and have a laugh, and I feel that I tried my best and I done that, as much as I could. But no, it was a good time, I'm also, I had a great time doing it, but I'm also glad I'm not doing it now, to be honest with you. I now, as I've matured as an artist and I know what I want to do more with my life, I'm
Hmm.
very much more happy just doing my own thing. I never joined Celtic Thunder. I never thought I would have been doing it for 10 years when I first signed up for it. I didn't intend to
Yeah.
give. I'm not somebody who sort of reforms to the normal. I never intended to give any sort of company or any. It is a company at the end of the day. It's a
Right.
show and a production, but I never intended to give anybody the entirety of my 20s, which I did. I gave Celtic Thunder from when I was 20 to I was basically 30. And when the time is right to leave, I really enjoy doing my own thing now too. So it was a great time doing it, and I had an absolute blast doing it. And I've made lots of great friends all across America from all the places I was in, and I have lots of fond memories of it.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Did you know early on that you wanted to do other things beyond Celtic Thunder? Was that always something sort of near and dear in your heart? Like you said, you had more of a, rocker background in you. Did you already have that itching that you knew you may do this while doing other things and then eventually branch out to do your
I
own
mean, like,
thing?
I was always doing my own thing. I mean, even when I was in London at 18, I was there recording and writing and doing my own stuff, which was always the intention. And then when I joined Celtic Thunder, I think to date, I'm still one of the only guys that ever went to the show that actually got to record their own songs and I think I've got 3 songs on different records on Celtic Thunder albums, that I wrote myself. And then it got to the point I was touring, I got signed to David Foster and Verve, probably, geez, that's a long time ago now. I think it's 10 years next year that first record came out. But so I was kind of juggling that as well as doing Celtic Thunder, and it was becoming that my tours were almost as long as the other tours, and they were starting to clash with one another. And
Yeah.
I was sort of at the age I was like, if I don't leave and do my own thing now, I'm never going to do it. So that's kind of why I ended up doing my own thing.
Right, exactly. One of the viewers, one of our lovities here asks, please, please mention the cheese story. Tell the cheese story. Don't be shy. It was so funny. Do we look at his face? It's like the cheese story. What is the cheese story?
Cheese, cheese, cheese. You need to remind me. I have so much crazy stuff. So you need to remind me on the cheese story. It's probably.
It must have been something that they that they really remember big time. That is funny.
Yeah, if someone
We'll,
wants to
we'll,
remind me about the
we'll think
cheese.
about that one, M. The wild child, LOL. That was funny. Keith was the party
Yeah.
boy. Party on, Keith. That's funny. So you carved out your own niche, and tell us about that. Were you nervous at all, sort of stepping back from Celtic Thunder and moving on because it was a regular gig, it was ongoing, and it was still growing and all, or was it easy for you to sort of do your thing? Like Emmett's last night, O'Hanlon said that for him it was at first he was unsure a little bit, but then he knew what he wanted and he wanted to go into opera and he's doing brilliant with that. So then it became easier and he just went forward with everything. How about for you?
For me, I was ready. I'd thought about it for quite a while, and I had my ducks in line, and I had tours lined up. I already had another album, I think, at that time in the can and ready to release. So for me, I was ready to go, and I felt that I'd done everything that I could do with Celtic Thunder. And as much as I love music, for me, I love the music business too, and I love, business in general. I'm quite entrepreneurial. I've had 3 or 4 different companies over my life on my own. I've currently just built 2 new companies in Ireland, and you know when I
Yeah,
was
you've got a
doing
whole
that at that
recording
time,
studio. Yeah, and you've got
yeah,
this.
I was doing that at that time. I kind of seen Celtic Thunder, and
Amazing.
I'd done 10 years of it, and I was like, I can't, it's nothing to do with the music or the guys in the show or nothing like that. For me, I was like, this is as far as this is going to go for me. And once I got to that point, I was like, right, on to the next thing. What's the next thing I can do with? If it's
Yeah,
not music, maybe it's some other career or something.
exactly right. Exactly right. And that's what you did. I mean, you forged this whole other career. And tell us about it. Tell us about some of the cool things you've been working on and what you've been doing since Celtic Thunder, if there are those who don't know about some of the other cool projects that you've had an opportunity to work on.
Well, my first record that I done, I was signed to David Foster. Basically, got the job. He was the CEO of Verve. Verve reopened
Yeah.
and reopened as a label, and David became the new CEO of Verve. And when he became the CEO of Verve, I was the very first person that he signed onto the record at the time. So I ended up doing that. Was my first record. Him and Joachim van der Zag. David was the executive producer. I was 24 or 25 when I first went out to LA to start recording, and I liked LA a lot, and I was there so much that I ended up buying an old boat and living on the boat for 3-4 years when I lived there. But it was an amazing experience. I mean, I ended up recording half my record in David's house, and shout out to Brandon Jenner. I recorded a lot of it in Brandon's pool house. He's a big studio there.
Yeah.
And I recorded all the strings in Abbey Road in Studio One, where the Beatles recorded, with a 60-piece orchestra. So that was my first record, came out, and that was #1 world music and Billboard charts in America and Canada, iTunes, Amazon bestsellers, Barnes and Noble bestsellers on the release and on pre-sale. So I'd done pretty good, considering it was my first record. There was a bunch of original songs in it, and there was a bunch of cover songs in it. And then from there, I went on to working on another album that I wrote myself, and Verve didn't really want to do it because it was like kind of down a more rock and roll route, which is more what I love doing personally,
What was the title of that one, Keith? The other one?
Mercy Street was the name of that one.
Oh, yeah.
And it took me about 2-3 years, sort of, because I was sort of transitioning between labels. And it's so funny, when you go to, just for any young kids out there, anybody who's listening about music, record companies don't always know what they're talking about, even though these guys, a lot of the time they do, but a lot of these guys, they're afraid they rock their boat and lose their job. So I was coming with all these songs that were so different to the songs that I had written from my first record, and they weren't that sure about them. So I went like, all right, I'm going to do it my own, and I went and funded it myself and went back to my roots, back to London, to Gav and Andy and the old band, Big Linda's band, recorded it. They were also Chrissy Hines band from the Pretenders. So we recorded the record, and the day before, 2 days before I was going to release it, a record company came to me called Blue Elon in LA, came to a show. God.
I know. I know. Well, it's funny, the angle that you're in, the way that the room is positioned, it does look like you're almost in a church. So maybe you could pray to God that he makes the Wi-Fi work. So we see you and we hear you now. It's a little crazy. Maybe there's some weather going on. Yeah. You'll have to, when you go in and out, there you go. When you go in and out. Welcome back.
Yeah.
What I was saying is the way it looks, you almost look like you're in a chapel, like you're in a church, so you may want to pray to God above and say, can you make the Wi-Fi stay steady, please? We heard you say God.
I'm not really sure what part of that ramble that you guys got to there, but basically, my second mercy.
Sort of going in and out again on you there a little bit. You know what we could do? Maybe you can fiddle with it, but what we could do is we do have, Keith, this video here, and we can show that, which would be really, really cool. And then maybe there's some fiddling or something you can do. Everything works out in the end. Been in many TV and radio studios where things get a little crazy, but yeah, we can show this. Tell us about this one. This one is My Old Friend acoustic. It's Christmas time. Tell us about this one. This was actually done at the Barnes Studios, right?
Yeah, last year I wanted to put a Christmas EP out, and I didn't really want to do like a whole huge production on it. So I went to the studio with one engineer, and I ended up playing everything on the album: drums, bass, guitar, keys, backing vocals, and produced it myself. And this was a song on it that I wrote called My Old Friend. And it's basically, at Christmas time, you get to see the people that you grew up with that you wouldn't really contact all year, but you still know that you're the best of friends the second you see one another. You talk like you hadn't been away from one another, and basically it's about that feeling you get, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. That's where the studio is. Tell us about that building. I mean, that's a cool building where you have the Barn Studios.
Yeah, it's a big old this is actually just next to my studio. This isn't actually the studio, and this is another barn. But the studio itself, it's in a 200-year-old old dry stone barn on our property. And when we got it, it didn't have heating or electricity, really. It had nothing in it. And we built it up from scratch. And now we have a huge live room. We've got a vocal booth. Like, it's a proper, legitimate high-end studio, which we just had a band in recording there last week. They were actually a punk band. A 3-piece punk band was in there recording. And it's been a labor of love. It's been all my years of traveling and collecting instruments and microphones that all now have a home, you know.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Yeah. And this is something that I know has been a dream of yours. Let's treat our audience to this really cool video. Again, my old friend acoustic from It's a Christmas Time. And then we'll come back. We've got some more chat. He's going to perform live, and all your comments. Thanks for all these great comments. All the lovities watching all around the world. Really awesome. Here is this great song, again, by the one and only Keith Harkin, my old friend acoustic, from It's Christmas Time. Perfect for this time of the year as we celebrate the holidays together. I'm your host, Jim Masters, and you're watching The Jim Masters Show live. Good to have you with us. Here is my old friend.
Well, the wind she blows on a cold, dark night, I couldn't sleep. At 10 past the clock, midnight, and I feel the love around me. Oh, just once again. It's so good to be home with you, my old friend. Well, Mom, I'm headed out. Dad, don't wait up on me. I'm going to the bar just to see who I can see. And I feel the love around me. Oh, just once more again. It's so good to be home with you, my old friend. It ain't the moon or the stars that guided me home. It ain't the plane or the taxi ride. It ain't the mistletoe that hangs in her door. It's that feeling I get deep inside. It's the love that I have in this heart for you. Oh, it's the love that I have for my home. It gets stronger each year with the bells of Auld Lang Syne. It gets stronger at Christmas time. And I feel love around me once again. It's so good to be home with you, my old friend. Yeah, it's good to be home. Well, the seasons turn the years, and the years that feel like days. And the clock, it makes me older. in so many different ways. And I feel the love around me, oh, just once more again. It's so good to be home with you, my old friend. It ain't the moon or the stars that guide me home. It ain't the plane or the taxi ride. It ain't the mistletoe that hangs in her door. It's that feeling I get deep inside. It's the love that I have in this heart for you. Oh, it's the love that I have for my home. It gets stronger each year with the bells of Auld Lang Syne. It gets stronger at Christmas time. And I feel the love around me once again. It's so good to be home with you, my old friend. Yeah, it's so good to be home. Oh, 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 oh. Oh, 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 oh. Oh, 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 oh.
Really nice, my friend. Really, really nice, and perfect for this. Perfect for this time of the year. Great comments coming in from everybody. So awed by this artist, of course. He's really cool. He's very talented and always has been. Jim, you're doing a great job. He's easy to talk to, isn't he? Had a chance to do this in Ohio a couple of years ago. Kelsey was there too. Yeah, I've been doing this for a long time in this career. Keith can tell you that. Keith puts his whole heart into singing, and you can tell he loves his music, and we as fans can feel it too, love him for it as well. Christy, claps coming in. Josie, lovely. Carol, such awesome talent. Glad to have found this today. Welcome to the Jim Master Show Live, folks. We're here every day. And just so you know, we're here. I'm back. After I'm done with Keith and we wrap, I'm going to have a quick dinner, and then I'm back here fortunately it's in my house because we're live at 7 p.m. Eastern with a jazz vocalist, dear friend from Chicago, Tammy McCann. So it's that kind of beautiful, doing what you love. And that's what you do. You're doing what you love, aren't you, my friend?
Me? Yeah. I mean, like, singing's the easiest thing I do. You know, it's a weird, to other people, it probably looks like it's, you know, difficult. But for me, it's the only time of the day that I don't have to think. Everything else I have to think about.
You know, and I would imagine, yeah, like a year like this, you've probably been very inspired, and you've probably been turning to music a lot too, because music is really healing and very purposeful. Like Keith puts his whole heart into his singing and love his music, beautiful songs, such awesome talent. You know, how does it make you feel when you hear this response? Like, you know, when you were with Celtic Thunder, you had individual people who liked Keith, Neil, Ryan, individuals, and then the collective group. But this is Keith. And how does it make you feel that people actually respond to and not just love the performer, but really get the message, get what you're trying to present, get the vibe, and get your vision? You know, they're following your dream along with you. That must make you feel really cool. I know in my work in television and radio, it makes me feel cool when I hear that. It must do the same for you, huh, Keith?
Yeah, I mean, 100%. It makes you feel, it makes your work, it makes you feel not crazy in a weird kind of way. You know,
Yep.
when I'm writing words, or if I'm writing a song, or, you know, obviously if I write something, I don't write it because I don't understand it. I don't write it because I don't think it's good. nonetheless, that doesn't mean it's understandable, and that doesn't mean that it's good, you know. So when you go out and you sing a song and you see the room react the same way that you're feeling or the way you were thinking whenever you were writing it, it almost justifies. You're like, whew, all right, so we're still on the right track, you know. And I feel like for me, that's kind of the biggest reward of the whole lot. You know, when you play a song that you've written and you know it's a good one, or you think it's a good one,
Yeah.
And you see a room react in the same way that you feel when you sing it, and then that just goes like that's the payoff. You know, that's the fun part of music, really.
What are some of the things, Keith, that inspire you to pen the music, to write? As much a great musician and singer, you are a songwriter too. So what are some of the things that inspire you to write the music you write?
It's funny, you know, my songwriting is a curse and a blessing. You know, I know I can write a song. I've been doing it a long time now, and I've written for other big artists as well.
Yeah.
They wouldn't ask me if I could. But it's funny, you know, for me as a solo artist, my music is always changing, which is a bad thing for a solo artist. You know, it's, you know, you don't go to Neil Young and expect like a one right. You go to hear Neil Young because he sounds like Neil Young. You go to hear the Eagles because it sounds like the Eagles. But growing up, my music has always changed. My songs when I was 20-year-old were all about surfing, drinking beers, and getting chicks. And then, you know, 24, 25, it was all about being on the road, touring, and partying. And then, you know, 30 came along, and it was about love and life and the future. And now it's all about, the music now is more current. I'm sort of writing songs about where I'm at, where my family's at, you know, looking at my child, looking at the world, how the world looks at me. Right. That's kind of where my music's at right now. And I think the music is always going to change. I've just kind of learned to accept that. You know, that's kind of the writer that I am. And that's just the way it's going to be for me. You know, I just hope people stick along for the ride of my music, which is kind of changing all the time, you know. And I am kind of a bit apologetic to that to people, but at the same time too, it's just who I am. And, you know, there's no point in me writing music that I don't believe in. Simple as that. There's no point in me singing a song. The best musicians in the world are the honest ones. And there's no music. They please other. Trust me, if you're going to be happy on stage, you're going to enjoy their music just as much as they are on. I love music as much as anybody else does. I love going to see bands and they see shows, and I tell if the singer is in it, my vibe is done for the whole show. I'm just like, well, he doesn't want to be here. He doesn't like that song. I really don't want to be sat here lied to or fooled. You know, especially when you're in the game. I'm sure, Jim, you know, Neil as well. You've seen many people come into a studio, and you know yourself, you know, not everybody's perfect all the time in the world. Right. You know, it is. Sometimes you have to buckle up and just walk how bad you're at and just suck it up and deliver and put the smile on your face. So for me, I just try to be honest. And I feel that I hopefully get back.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Did you want to perform? I know the house is a little quiet there. Did you want to perform something for the viewers while they're watching, while it's still a little early there for you? I know the Wi-Fi there is acting up a little bit. You're frozen you're frozen with a nice, cool smile. So you might have to come in and out. There you go. Again? You're back again. What'd you do? Kick the computer? If you just give it a little kick, sometimes that just brings it back. Give the computer some beer. That'll help it.
Maybe I should cheers the computer.
Oh, yeah. You got that? Let's do that. We always do that on the show, my friend. We cheers all the guests. Slancha, you got that beer?
Cheers, Slancha, everybody.
Cheers, my friend. And so happy to have you here. Wow. Obviously a good one.
Isn't as classy as yours, but it'll have to do.
So what's the song you're going to perform? Tell us about it.
Well, I wrote a song about 2 years ago now, whenever I was sitting in the middle of January. I just finished a tour over Christmas, and I flew by Ireland to work at our old house in Ireland, work at the project, worked at the studio, worked at Black House, getting it all ready. And I remember sitting there in the freezing cold, wondering why I was doing it. And then I got thinking about the old house that was around me. You know, it's 200 years old. And all the local families living around us, they always talk about the house, and they always say how they were born there, or their great-grandmother lived there for a while. And, you know, I was thinking about the life that I was trying to put into the house. And, you know, we had a son there, and we got married there. And I just started thinking about if the walls could talk in the old building, same as this old house I'm in right now, you know, the amount of tears and laughter and joy and occasions that happen in an old house. And I wrote a song called This Old House. Can you hear
Perfect. Me? Yeah, perfect. It sounds good too.
So do you want to hear it?
Yeah, absolutely.
All
Here's our special guest, Keith Harkin, on guitar, live from Portugal.
There's no one home but this old fire. The company is in the flames. The bed's been eaten, made for 2 whole days. There's a leak out in the kitchen. Battle wounds on every door. Wouldn't sell it for $1 or $1 million more. This old home has a heart. I hear it beating in these walls. I hear the laughter from the years gone by. Hear the mother's dinner call. I hear newborn babies crying. I hear the hands that build it all. I hear the music from the parties. I hear the children in the hall. This old house. See, we got married in the front yard. Well, I built that crooked fence that got the scars to prove fond memories. Never loved nobody else. Never thought I'd get so lucky to have you here right by my side, to have a place that we can call our own, to even have you as my bride. This old home has a heart. I hear it beating in these walls. I hear the laughter from the years gone by. I hear the mother's dinner call. I hear newborn babies crying. I hear the hands that build it all. I hear the music from the parties. I hear the children in the hall. This old house. And this old house was nothing till we had a you. This old house, we tore it down and built it of something new. This old house was nothing till we had you. This old house. Early March, the white snowdrops lay down by the graveyard wall. Then our firstborn came with rain and May. I never thought I'd have it all. 'Cause this old home has a heart. I hear it beating in these walls. I hear the laughter from the years gone by. I hear the mother's dinner call. I hear newborn babies crying. I hear the hands that build it all. I hear the music from the parties. I hear the children in the hall. I hear the children in the hall. This old house.
Yeah. No, you'd hear the roar of the crowd and the whole. Cool. Really, really nice, my friend. Tell us about that guitar. Show us the guitar that you use. I know you use a ton of different guitars.
This is called a Lawsuit Takamine. So Takamine is a Japanese brand, and if you look at this guitar, if anybody knows anything about a guitar, it's a Martin copy that was made in the 60s, but Takamine even copied the Martin logo, which are made up in Pennsylvania. And I bought it. I actually have a mahogany one, and this is a maple one, and I bought this about 2 years ago, and I'm endorsed by a load of companies, but this is my favorite wee guitar to play on the daily. I absolutely love playing this guitar. I have so many guitars, but this one seems to be the one that I lift and seem to want to do the most playing on. So therefore, that's the one I keep around.
Everybody loving it. Love Keith's heart that goes into beautiful songs. Can't say how much I love that brilliant song. The best storyteller. Music will last forever. We Irish are good storytellers, aren't we? And we like a good joke and lots of crack. Welcome. Winona says, hello from Arkansas. Awesome song, Keith. I love your music. You have such an amazing voice. Celtic Caper Girl 1, one of our regular viewer lovities. Lots of standing ovations here. Same thing from Kim. A wow from Joey. Woohoo from Sharon and Barbara. Woohoo. Standing ovation. Standing ovation from Maureen, standing on her coffee table in her house, more than likely. Love, love, love this song. Gorgeous from Meg. Margaret says, bravo. Clapping to the beat of this song. Clapping. I so want the best for this amazing artist, rooting for you, which is awesome. Love when people do that. One of our lovely viewers, Juanita in South Africa. What an amazing nostalgic song. Love, love from Kim. Rhonda. Oh, Keith, awesome song. Hitting our sweet spot. You were hitting their sweet spot, which is really cool. Guinness Girl, love it. Yeah. That's the next title for your next song, Hitting the Sweet Spot. Right?
Sweet spot, yo. Something like that.
That's right. The sweet spot. Yeah, that'll be his next song. Look for that in 2021, God willing. Yeah. Sweet spot. Write that down. I think he's writing it down. What a lovely song. Wow, such an amazing song, heartfelt. They can actually see the house as you're talking about it. Really cool stuff. Singing along, such a beautiful song. Really, really cool stuff. And go Keith from Mom and Dad.
Oh, hello, parents.
Wow, is that your parents?
Yeah, that's well. I hope if it's not somebody pretending to be my parents, but
yes, your mom and dad watching. Wow,
my mom and dad, they have a little soap shack in Donegal. They make soaps.
Do they really? Oh, that's fantastic! Wow, cool. What's their first names?
Kevin and Siobhan.
Kevin and Siobhan, welcome to the show. It's good. You got a good son here. I tell you, he knows what he's doing. He's got a good head on his shoulders. He's very talented, but we need not tell you that. You guys know that. It's nice to have them on the show here. I appreciate that. Everybody, Emmett O'Hanlon's mother was on last night. My folks watch. I mean, everybody, the moms, and they're always there.
They are our biggest fans.
They are. I tell you, they got us going. I call my parents my original executive producers because they produced me and my sister.
Exactly.
Love you. So great interview. Thank you, Pamela. I'm glad you're enjoying the conversation. And it's funny, I don't even call these interviews. These things are just conversations. They all love it. Old house is the best. This old house. Love this old house. Oh, please, this old house. Loving my shirt. Thinking that you would wear something similar taste, I guess. Great. I'll ship you one to Portugal. Stat. Great to see you, Keith. Got here a little late, hiding out at a party. Cheers. As I mentioned too, your life has, you've been blessed and you've got some wonderful things that have happened in your life. And we'll take people down sort of memory lane a little bit here. Some of the blessings in your life have included and do include
the main woman. The boss.
The boss. Yes. Tell us, how did you guys meet?
Kelsey worked for a friend of mine. It was a clothing company, and she basically ran the clothing company from my friend's house. And I used to always go round to the house because the house was always full of models. Basically, that's the God's honest truth. There was always loads of these beautiful LA models hanging out in the house doing photo shoots, and I would always be like, "What's up?" And my friend Amber would be like, "You're an absolute creep," and I'm like, "I'm just here to help out. Help out at the photo shoot. You need help, don't you?" And she'd just be laughing at me. But anyway, Kelsey ended up working for Amber, and I was actually on tour at the time, playing in LA, and I popped into the house to say hello to Amber, and Kelsey was at the computer. And I said to my friend, I said, "Who's she?" And my friend said, "Keep your hands off her, you creep." And I said to my friend Amber, I said I would marry her tomorrow before I even knew her name. And that was the first second I seen her. And I tortured her for about 6 months. And then one day she asked me, she said, "What?" I was there, whatever, like 6 months later. And she said, what do you do?" And I was like, "Oh, I'm a musician, you know." And she was like, "Oh, right." And she says, and I said, she was on the computer, and I says, "Go into YouTube and type on Keith Harkin." And she said, "Who's Keith Harkin?" She didn't even know my name after working it for 6 months.
That is funny. I guess wasn't familiar with the Celtic Thunder run either. Yeah. That is funny. I think your I think your Wi-Fi froze there a little bit again. Everybody loving the soaps. So when you may have to go out and come in again, I think, probably. But isn't that a great shot, everybody? We've got some more. We've got some more. Freeze frame on Keith. Freeze frame. You may have to come in and out again. Probably, maybe the weather there is not so good. There he goes. You guys having a good time? He'll be back in just a second. He goes out and he comes back in. Wi-Fi a little shaky there, I think. These comments are terrific. Welcoming his parents. You've had the soaps too, the Siobhan soap. They make the best soaps. He's going to perform, I believe, another song or two here as well. It's quiet where he is because his child is sleeping in the other room, so we don't want to disturb. We got another shot here. We're going to show you. We've got a couple of different photos. We'll show these when he comes back as well. But isn't that an awesome shot? Yeah. Very blessed. Worked very, very hard. I love this one too. We'll show these again when he comes back. But there he is, with Kelsey and their child. Here's another one. Proud papa here, huh? Absolutely. I mean, look at that. How do you not get a tingle out of that when you see a shot like that? Let's see what some of the lovedies and the viewers around the world are saying. More coming in. Great family photos. Got to hold on. Awesome, beautiful family. Our family that we love. First time seeing your show, Jim, and loving it. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. And if you want to see all the other episodes, they're on our YouTube channel at Jim Masters TV. Carol, this is such a great interview. Really great, Jim. Thank you very much. This is awesome, Jim. Thank you very much. From Julie watching. And here he comes back. Here he comes. He's trying to come back. There he is. There you are. So, there you are. Here it's coming. It's coming. It's coming. I wish we heard what you probably said when it disappeared, but we probably might not want to have heard that. So you're there. It's just going in and out. Maybe the signal is there. Thank you, Barbara. I appreciate that. So Keith is there. It's a freeze frame, but we're not giving up. He's there. He's not giving up either. Josie said, yes, Bernadette, we got to hold on. There you are. There you are. So
there we are. I'm sure so many people over this year, probably like for yourself, Jim, and myself doing like live television and stuff like that. If stuff was to cut out this much, you'd be like really freaking out. But I feel this year, because everybody has probably been so used to doing Zooms and
Yeah.
online concerts. This is like pretty. Even when I do my online shows every summer, start of lockdown, they cut out all the time, and you have to read, and then just something happens.
And you know what it is for me? It never rattles me because of being in actual television studios, radio stations, stage, and everything, where things have I've been on set where people fell out of chairs behind me and we had to keep talking, where sets fell down behind me, or where lights burst, where the guests didn't show up, or just stuff happens. We were actually at a television studio. It happened to be, because as you know, I work with public television, but I have a show on CBS and radio shows, and I do a lot of different stuff in a lot of different places. But we were at public television and we were live on the air, and all of a sudden the fire alarms went off and we had to evacuate the building. And I think Tommy James was coming in from New Jersey in his limo. He was going to be the guest, and we're all out in the parking lot. It's December, it's freezing. The fire alarm's going off, and the TV station is still live on the air. The only people left in the building was master control, and that they had to leave. And it was, they had moved into a big, beautiful new TV studio. But when their wiring was done in the lobby, something happened, and I guess there was some smoke coming out of the ceiling, set the 6 floors of the building fire alarms off. We actually had to say, we're going to go away for a minute. And, the guys upstairs had to scramble, throw anything on, and then they eventually had to just evacuate the building. So this is all minor stuff, absolutely minor stuff. But yes, you remember Tommy James and the Shondells. That's right.
It's so funny you're just talking about, we were talking about how I met Kelsey, and then you were saying about the fire there. After that day of our wedding, we had so many American friends and family came over to Ireland. So what we done was a 2-week road trip in vans and in buses all the way down the coast of Ireland. Just partied for 2 weeks, friends and family. We were renting out complete hotels and renting out big guest houses to ourselves. And we were in Galway, and a friend of mine's in Galway owns a great bar called Monroe's, Gary Monroe and the family. Hello, Gary. And we were at his bar all night, and there were bands playing, and it was great. And we went back to this guest house, and in the middle of the night in the guest house, the fire alarm went off. And everybody, same thing, all had to get up, and we were all ran out to the street like girls in their underwear. Nobody even had a second to put clothes on. And then, like, one of my groomsmen's a guy called Bowser, and I met him. He's a really good friend of mine. He's a lot older than I am. Bowser's in his mid-60s. And I was like, where's Bowser? Where's Bowser? We're all like pretty intoxicated. It's like 4 in the morning, 5 in the morning. And Bowser is all into his transcendental meditation. He lived with Maharishi, who taught the Beatles. He lived with Maharishi for nearly 17 years and opened up a lot of ashrams on the west coast of America. And I was like, geez, Bowser. And I ran into the place and opened the door. And he opens the door, and this plume of smoke just comes out of the door of his room in the hotel that we're staying at. And it was all incense that he was burning. He was meditating. And the incense that he was burning was so thick, and that he was meditating so hard he couldn't hear the fire alarm, and it was him who set off the fire alarm. There was no fire at all in the house. It was Bowser and his stupid incense.
Wow. See, things happen. It's all in how you roll with it, right? You let it just roll, and you just keep forging forward. They're all saying, please finish the Kelsey story. I think you got cut off there with that.
I'm not sure what part they heard. Well, basically,
probably just the name Kelsey.
Basically, Kelsey. I have a feeling it's Kelsey cutting off the internet every time.
I was going to say she's like, how far is he going to tell? He's going to tell our secrets? Because you may have to pray to God. Is she in the other room pulling plugs and unplugging things? Or maybe she's putting a toaster on and it's interfering. But
she was working for a friend of mine, and basically I tortured her until she knew who I was. She didn't even know who I was. I thought we were ready to get married after 6 months, and she didn't even know my name. She asked me what I'd done one day, and I told her I'm a musician. And I said, she was on the computer, and I said, type Keith Harkin in the YouTube, and she turned around and she said, who's that? She didn't even know my name.
I love this shot. This is cool. What was happening here with you guys, the three of you? Look at you all wrapped in America.
In January of this year. No, December last year.
Congratulations, my friend. Congratulations. So do you have dual, or is it Ireland and America now?
Yeah. I've got both passports. So I have my Irish one and my American one. It was
Congratulations.
a really
Welcome.
cool thing to do. And
Quite a
also,
process, isn't it?
yeah, it's a
Yeah, it's a
long,
big,
extremely expensive
now more
thing.
than ever.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a great. I'm very proud they have my American citizenship. And
Yeah. And you live here in the States, in Los Angeles too, in case people don't know that Keith lives here in the States. But what a great day that is, huh? He became an American citizen wrapped in the flag. And I mean, that's really, really cool. Yep. December 19th, almost a year ago, which is really cool. Congratulations, my friend, huh? Yeah, maybe Kelsey is unplugging things in the back there. Maybe she put the microwave oven on and it's interfering with his signal. Juanita's clapping. But that's a really cool shot. And look at the pride there, huh? Welcome to America, my friend. Cheers to dual citizenship too, right? Some countries, I have a friend from the Netherlands, and the friend from the Netherlands, he's going to go out and come back again. My friend from the Netherlands can't do dual, I believe. I think you have to give up the Dutch citizenship if you're going to be an American citizen. So some of the countries make it a little tough. He'll be back. He'll be back. Congratulations is right. I don't know, maybe some of you didn't know he became an American citizen. We are proud to have you as an American citizen. I agree. That was a really cool shot as he was telling that. Yeah, a year ago it was. A year ago, almost a year ago next Saturday, right? A year ago from a week from today, which is because the next Saturday is the 19th or 18th, 19th. So that is really, really cool. Good stuff. Here he comes. He's there. He's there. He's there. He always does that. He gets excited that he's got through again. He's got through dual citizenship. So he's from Ireland and now an American citizen and in Portugal, kicking his computer. They're saying Portuguese next citizenship.
technically, I could get a British. I actually can have 3 passports because I was born in Northern Ireland, and I can apply for a British passport too if I wanted. But I don't want that.
Yeah. And speaking of that as well, and again, congratulations, my friend. That really is amazing. And this picture is wonderful, and the story. And of course, proud Papa here. We were when you disappeared, we were showing some of these and talking about it with the viewers or lovedies. Tell us about this edition as well. I mean, edition number 1, fabulous. Edition number 2, fabulous in your life. Tell us about how blessed you are here, Keith.
Yeah, I mean, it's like when you have a kid, it's like you become a member of a new secret club or something like that, It's like when you're in a video game and you find a secret passageway and you go up a level in life, it's just a whole new experience, and puts everything up until the point where Waylon came into our life, I was doing for me. And the second that I set eyes on Waylon, everything I do in this world now is completely for him. It's kind of funny how I don't really care about anything that I do for me anymore. Everything that I do now, every job that I take on, I think about buying a piece of property or something, it's all for that guy right there. It's not for me at all,
Right.
Simple as that. I love having him around. He is so much fun.
They're asking if he has dual citizenship too already.
He's stoked. He has an American passport, an Irish passport, and he was born in Derry City, so he technically can have a British passport as well if he wants. So that kid is connected. He's set.
Any musical chops you're seeing yet? Does he play with the spoons or on the pans? Does he do anything?
I catch him singing all the time. He loves playing my guitar. He loves playing the piano. I let him loose in the studio, and you just see the fireworks exploding in his brain. I mean, he's only about a year old there. He's 19 months this week now.
Wow. His birthday's coming up this week?
Yeah, well, he's 19 months old this week past.
Wow.
But he's now of the age where we only started to having to put him in the bold corner over the past few weeks where he's doing things, and it's all coming back on me. All the crazy stuff that I'd pulled tricks on everybody.
Full circle for you.
Oh, it's 100% coming. And I'm a pretty big, scary alpha male. I'm like 6'2", and like I put him in the corner, and I'm like, you do not do that.
Yeah.
And he literally looks at me as if they say, I don't give one shit of anything that you're saying to me right now. And I
chip off the old block.
I'm trying my best not to laugh because I can tell he really isn't scared of anything that I'm saying to him. Myself or Kelsey just give off to him, and he just looks at me and he's like, I'm going to do it the second I get off this chair. I'm going to do it again.
Yeah. Chip off the old block. Wouldn't you say that?
100%. Yeah, it's all coming back.
That's, and a couple of the Lovity viewers here are saying that he also sings too. Is he singing a little bit?
He's constantly singing. Yeah, you catch him on his own. He's singing. If he hears music, you'll see him walking around the room and singing and singing and singing. So maybe he's destined to be a singer. Who knows?
Where was this shot taken? This is a really cool shot. I mean, it's very scenic there where you guys are there. I think some of them are, chip off the old block is right. Absolutely. He's in charge now. You guys, I love the name Waylon too. What a cool name. Dual citizenship, Waylon. So very cute. Cool stuff. Yeah, he froze a bit there. There he is. He's there. We'll get him back. We'll get him back. He'll kick the computer again. He'll kick it again. We got some more photos here we're going to show. Again, this is really cool. I mean, congratulations for that. And again, all of you who joined us late, we talked already about the Celtic Thunder days. Yes. Of course, he has his own brilliant career. He's really got this fantastic setup with his studio too, and he is back. Good to nah, it's the way it is. It's the way it is. Here's another shot. Look at that. I see a little Santa Claus there, huh? What was happening here?
That was just the other day at the mall. He was these things you could rent instead of pushing them around in the pram.
Oh, this is recent.
Pay any amount. Yeah, this was just like last week, a few days ago. And it was like €2 to rent this car, and you can push it around, and he can press buttons and stuff in it. So, even if they had to charge me €400, if it kept him quiet for 2 hours whilst he got to walk around the mall and buy your Christmas shopping, it was worth every penny.
Absolutely, absolutely, and the joy of it all, and that's really, really cool. Nice shot there. And I was telling people tell us about. We mentioned the studio that you have, this really cool studio. Also, is this in Portugal, this shot?
This is in Portugal. Yeah, this was just the other day.
That's cool.
The big house.
That's at the house?
Yeah, it's a big old guest house that normally is full of guests. And the guys that own it, they just decided to give like a short-term lease on the place because of COVID. There's nobody like renting it out, renting different rooms and stuff like that. So we landed on our feet, and we got this beautiful big guest house for ourselves, and just the guy that owns it pops his head on every now and again just to check on it. It's pretty hilarious, really, to be honest, but it's a beautiful old Portuguese style house.
Wow. Are you cooking Portuguese style food too? Have you been sampling some of that while you're there?
I mean, I love Portuguese food. Is absolutely fantastic. The fish and the just the fish and the plain vegetables that they do here, the grilled fish that everybody cooks on the coals. I love the fish. I love Portuguese food. Portugal is a fantastic place. I could live here for sure. Yeah.
It's really beautiful, isn't it? It's absolutely beautiful. Everybody loving the photos too, they're saying here. This is a cool one. I know this is one of your headshots too. That's a cool one. What are you thinking? What were you thinking when they took that shot? What was going through your mind?
Do you know what's funny about that photograph, Jim? Everybody asks me about that photograph, and I was at the airport going on tour in March, and someone said to me, "We need a headshot," and I couldn't get onto my Dropbox with all the high-res files, and I just done portrait mode on my iPhone and snapped it, and that was the photograph that came out on a selfie.
Really? So now he's going to add photographer to his resume as well, folks. He's available for weddings and bar mitzvahs.
Yeah, whatever you need. Whatever you need.
Whatever you need.
It's so funny how that photograph, everybody's like, this is amazing, this photograph. If you got a high-res one, I'm like, I just took it on my phone there now at the airport. You know,
it looks like it's professionally done. Here's another one.
That's a professional shot.
Yeah. Where was that taken? Is this in Ireland or Portugal?
I was taken in our old apartment in Venice Beach. We lived there for the guts of, well, Kelsey had it for nearly 10 years, and then we moved in together, and I lived there for the remainder of the time.
How do you like living on the West Coast of the United States? The weather and the location and all?
It's amazing. It really is. You know, you go far and wide before. And I know a lot of people in America, they're all like, oh, Californians, and they talk about politics and they start bringing nonsense on there. But California as a place and as a lifestyle, it's a fantastic place to live. You know, it's stunningly beautiful. There's not many places in the world that you can go surfing and skiing in the same day. And, you know, in Venice Beach, it's called, you know, you can go literally surfing in the morning in a pair of board shorts in October, and then drive to Big Bear and snowboard that same day at Big Bear. You know, and if you're into that kind of thing, there's
well, definitely the ocean for me is huge. So absolutely. Got some more photos coming in here, folks. Yeah, the ocean. What are some of the things you do there in Portugal, activity-wise, if you're able to? Because right now it's a COVID land. You can't do a lot of stuff. But as far as activities when you're in Portugal,
Portugal reminds me a lot the beauty of the thing. It's being the Big Sur or Baja in Mexico, that sort of California vibe without all the houses on it. The Big Sur in California, and that's kind of why I really like it here, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. Got a couple more photos here. Tell us about this one too, this album.
It was my first Christmas record that I recorded a week before I got married, a bit intense in our studio in Ireland with Brian Byrne, who's a really sort of famous arranger and producer in Ireland as well. And myself and Brian done it, and we recorded the strings. I can't remember. Somewhere in Europe we done the strings. I can't remember where we done the strings, but yeah, it's a Christmas rep. Originals on there. And it's kind of got like a jazzy vibe to it, but that's a lot because of Brian's sort of influences came into it. And it ended up being another album. It was #1 world music as well, that record, Nullig. And I just put it on my website at a higher resolution to listen to. It's at 192 kilobytes per second. Which a lot, if you want to get nerdy on it, if you're downloading off iTunes, the MP3s on iTunes are a lot smaller files. Which is fine. I'm not on it. Most people wouldn't notice it, but I do notice it because that's what I do. So what I started doing is now putting direct downloads on my website for people to download, and the files that you're actually getting. It might, for most people, they're just like, oh, it's just downloading the name, but it's almost double the quality that you're getting off iTunes for the same price.
That's cool. Hey, we dug up another cool photo here, my friend, doing our research. Tell us about this one. It looks like you're still staring at it, trying to figure out what was they doing then. What does it say? Keith Harkin, dirty stop-outs. He will tell us in just a second. He's probably thinking hard and wide. He's probably going to have to come in and out again. So you've heard this album then? Oh, great. Okay. Good stuff. You can listen to it all year. That's fantastic. Brian Harkin. I think you asked that of another one of our guests too. I'll show you that album again if you didn't know he did that album, the Christmas album. He was talking about that. This is some of the other albums too. That one, of course, you may remember. And we got this one here too. This one's in the round. And he mentioned too On Mercy Street as well, another one. But we were asking him about that cool photo there. Welcome back.
I'm back. I've changed the browser. See if that makes any difference. I don't really know.
It might have. Yeah, maybe it has. We'll see. Tell us about this this shot here.
I believe it or not, I think again that was an iPhone photograph that we photoshopped in. But the
Really?
dirty stopouts, yeah. It's funny. I don't like doing photo shoots. It's not really my jam. I've never done it. If I do, most of my photo shoots are someone I know who's a really good photographer.
Right.
They will follow me around for the day and take photographs over the entire day, and I'll wear different clothes throughout the day. But like, as for standing posing all day and then doing this and move your elbow in here and then maybe look up into the stars and all this, it's like I'm like, nah, we're not going. I don't get paid enough for that. You know what I mean? I'm like, I'm not into that. But a dirty stop out is my grandmother used to call me a dirty stop out. If I went out at the weekend and didn't come home at the time that I should have came home and rolled into the house, the walk of shame the next morning, she used to call me a dirty stop out. So whenever I had my first band in Ireland, it was Keith Harkin and the Dirty Stopouts, because everybody in that band was definitely a dirty stopout. That's hence the name Keith Harkin and the Dirty Stopouts.
I like that. Walked in the house and the walk of shame. I imagine what that must have been like.
My grandmother she was a pretty cool woman. She still is a very cool woman, but sadly she's in a home at the minute with Alzheimer's. And she raised 5 good children on her own through the troubles in Derry City in Northern Ireland throughout the.
So you guys were talking about this one here being one of his first. Yeah, that's his first. More comments coming in. I think his Wi-Fi there is really giving him a run.
It's pretty weird.
Yeah, yes, isn't it? Yeah. Denise asks, can you share
the upload speed? The upload speed is still really good here. I don't really understand why it's cutting out, but anyway.
Denise asks, can you share more about the delightful new stuff that you're writing now?
That I am writing.
Stuff you're working on now, yeah. You can see us, right? You hear us? You can hear us, right?
It's just
so maybe
freezing. The stuff that I'm writing right now, I can play something new if the internet allows us.
Doesn't right. Just give the thing a kick, right? What browser are you? I know it likes Google Chrome. Are you in Google Chrome? That's the one.
I was in Chrome and I changed to Firefox. Do you see if that made a difference?
If not, you could always go back to Chrome because I think that's the preferred one that they like. Okay. So that way you don't break up as much. But yeah, that'd be cool. Love to hear something that's fresh and new. That'd be awesome. If you're just joining us, everybody, our guest live from Portugal, singer-songwriter, musician, recording artist Keith Harkin. Many of you know him originally, of course, from Celtic Thunder. However, he's got a brilliant career that he's carved out. Love the new and old. That's exactly what it is. Yes. Yes. What is the song? If the fates allow. The Christmas song. We will all be together if the fates allow. I think it's chestnuts roasting on an open fire. Yeah, chestnuts roasting on an open fire. That's the one. So if the fates allow, if the internet allows. Yes, he's got the guitar there. All right. Back in business. He's back in business. All right.
Let me try and tune the guitar here to make sure that everything is working. I just
Absolutely.
last week, this is a brand new song.
Another world premiere on the Jim Masters Show Live. Every time we have guests, we have a world premiere. This is really, really cool.
I just got thinking about stuff. You know, I was sitting watching autumn happen in front of me, and you know, we all have stuff that happens to us in this world. And I sort of thought to myself, you know, a leave is like a regret where it just, you know, eventually it'll grow strong and worries you and builds up inside, but it'll fade away and die. So there's a new song called Leaves Are Just Regrets. Well, the wheatgrass in the trees and the early morning breeze, we go down to the river to play. And the autumn wears her crown, changing green to gold to brown. Broken leaves are falling down through the rays. Leaves are just regrets, they grow strong but die with time. And I'm alright dying here with you. When you're lost, you'll be found. When you're down, that's alright. When you're hurt, I will take care of you. When you're down on your knees, you can't give up the fight. Turn around, what are you running to? Don't run away. Hey! Let the sun come kiss your lips. This world is at your fingertips. I know these days are hit or miss, but that's alright, just like the internet. Throw your hands up in the air, wave them around like you don't care. It don't matter here or there, through day or night. The vines of life grow grapes, men turn water into wine. Look, I really need to hear your point of view. When you're lost, you'll be found. When you're down, that's alright. When you're hurt, I will take care of you. When you're down on your knees, you can't give up the fight. Turn around, what are you running to? Don't run away. Don't run away. When you're lost, you'll be found. When you're down, that's alright. When you're hurt, I will take care of you. When you're down on your knees, you can't give up the fight. Turn around, what are you running to? Don't run away. Don't run away. Don't run away, baby.
Really nice, my friend. Really nice. That's cool. I mean, the comments coming in are absolutely amazing. Tell us about the guests always tell us where they are. Like the room that you're in right now is kind of cool. It almost looks like it's a voiceover booth or something, the way you've got it all set up there. What is the room that you're in?
This is an old bay window behind me. That's what I call them. So it's sort of like a ceiling in this old, beautiful Portuguese place called Casa Passo Delias. I think that's how it's pronounced. The Portuguese language is really hard to follow. But we love it. It's really cozy. The whole upstairs is almost like wooden walls, and they've got an open fire. And we just got our Christmas tree the other day. So this looks like where we're going to be for Christmas, and we love it so far. So we're going to base ourselves here for work, doing the online Sunday session shows every week. And this is where we'll be for the next month, anyway, at least, you know.
when do you think, or you don't know when you'd be back in the States then, right? Do you have to go back to Ireland to see family first and then make your way back to the United States?
I mean, I still have a car payment in America. We have a car sitting at our father-in-law's house. My tour van is there. We have a container with all our stuff. We literally just moved out of our place in January or in this December this time last year by complete chance. But we didn't think we were going to be gone this long, or else we would have sold all our stuff. We're paying for everything just to sit there right now. And obviously touring is a thing that feels like it's a thing of the past right now. By the looks of it, there mightn't be any shows next year as well. Hang on, I put my hair back. It's really hot in here. There mightn't be any shows next year as well. Currently, there is very little happening in the world of music. So we're aiming to get back to the States at some stage next year. Kelsey's family have to see Waylon. We haven't seen anybody in the guts of a year, but we're no different to a lot of other people. A lot of people's going through the same thing right now.
Yeah, tough times around the world, right? Exactly.
Whatever time it's safe to travel. I just seen today that the American Airlines, not American Airlines, but a lot of the American airlines, if you're 2 years old and up, you have to wear a mask from 2 years old. And if that's the case, there's not a hope that we would get our 2-year-old child to wear a mask for 10 seconds, let alone a 12-hour flight. So I don't know how that's supposed to work.
Yeah, he'll want to rip that off, and absolutely. Yeah, it's really, it's an interesting time, and we've talked about it on this show. We sort of hope that we come out of this better for everything, because we've been so divisive and everybody's so angry and upset about all the crazy little dumb things and all the arguing and fighting and all the nonsense. And this is sort of like a real deep pause. It's a fantastic opportunity. It's a horrific thing that's going on, but at the same time, it's such an amazing opportunity for us to sort of get in touch with ourselves. Have we been doing the things in our lives that really serve our soul and our heart and our purpose? Are we really doing the things that we've always wanted to do, or we were serving other needs all the time and, maybe making others rich or whatever? And now people have been pausing and people have been saying, hey, I've always wanted to do this, or I've always wanted to take up that hobby, or I've always wanted to pivot my life and try this. And a lot of people are sort of reassessing and rebooting, and they're saying, all right, I'm going to come out of this doing something about themselves a little bit differently and taking on different things about themselves. And that's kind of cool. The world came to a halt. I told people, I think it's the earth, Mother Nature, and God came together and said, enough, you people, you're screwing things up. Let's want to shake things up and see how you come out of it. We're going to give you a global pandemic. We're going to fool with the economy. We're going to have civil unrest. We're going to have an election in America. We're going to throw all these things at you and see what you do with it. And any one of those things could be monumental, but we're going to give it all to you in 2020 and see what you do. We've seen the worst of the worst, but we've also seen a lot of really cool, good things coming out of this. People really rolling up their sleeves and creating and collaborating and doing some really amazing things to move forward. And I know you think that way too, that hopefully we'll come out of this rise from the ashes, not even returning back to normal, but maybe better for all that we've endured. And some have endured way more than you and I maybe, but still it's all around us. And very impactful. How do you feel about all that? You're hoping as well that we come out of this more understanding, better, more empathetic, more collaborative.
100%, of course. I hope. I've actually written a few songs about that very thing that you're talking about. The opening line is a song I wrote called "When This Is All Over," and the opening line in the songs, "Please don't go back to the ways of yesterday." Because I think some people, maybe a lot of people, maybe no people, but I just think that's, there will probably be more than one anyway. The person that please, like praying to whoever their God is, please, I promise, like a kid, if you just let me go back to work tomorrow, I promise I'll be a better person. I promise I won't throw trash out the window. I promise I'll be nice to other people. I promise this. But then you're kind of like going, the second you give them back the keys to the mansion, I kind of feel like, sadly, a lot of people will go and do all those things again.
You're right. I've been saying that they're going to go back to their ways. Some won't, but a lot of people will go back to their ways. I know they're going to go back to the way that they were before.
But the thing is, the good thing about it is like a lot of people won't as well. I feel like a lot of people will be richer people, not monetary wise, but richer as people coming out of this. And they're the people that makes a difference. Not everybody makes a difference in this world. But all it takes is one good person with a good heart to gather a bunch of people together and do the right thing. And if a lot of people come out of this with a higher IQ and understanding people and understanding how the world works, for sure.
Absolutely. That's really, really true. And that's really what it's all about, is coming together and keeping everybody together. And like Barbara says, when one door closes, another one opens. Yeah, I love it. Linda says, love that song, When This Is All Over. Absolutely. And I think Keith is, you're there you are. Very well said. They're liking this conversation here. All the things you've done, and you've done a lot, like you say, you're not 75 years old and you've done a heck of a lot in your life thus far, my friend. What are some things that you still are, that are on the Keith Harkin horizon? Some things you still want to do, things that you haven't tackled yet that you want to get to, as your life's journey continues. And we will have that answer in just a moment. But first this, how is everybody? Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Kwanzaa, Happy New Year. I think it's time for a sip. Maybe he's having another sip of that Portuguese beer. He's coming back. It's always when I come up with one of these really grand questions, it's like, boom. So I said it was time for a sip anyway. So yes, cheers again. Absolutely. Cheers again. That is the endless bottle. That bottle keeps refilling itself, doesn't it?
There's about 6 of them down here beside my feet.
Oh, so maybe that's why the Wi-Fi is a little funky. Maybe it isn't the Wi-Fi. It's the blur that we're seeing is not the Wi-Fi. I was talking about, of all the amazing things you've done in your life, and it's not like you're 75, 80 and you've accomplished so much thus far. What are some things on the Keith Harkin horizon, on your radar, that are things that you still want to go after, things you still want to do that are either you want to do more of it and expand more on it, or there are things that you haven't touched upon yet that you definitely want to do, Keith?
I want to tour and not tour as a job. I want to just be a musician again. I didn't become a musician to being a musician is a full-time job, and it's a hard grind at that. Not only do you have to come up with all the creative stuff and the songs and the ideas, but nowadays there's a lot expected of you. Almost, people get annoyed at you, like if you don't post on Facebook or Instagram, or they're like, oh, we haven't heard a song from you in a while, which is really strange when you actually think about it. Because I don't have to do any of that things, really. Nobody has to do any of those things. We do it because, people get a kick out of it, and in turn, people come and watch me at a show. But my main goal is, by the time I'm 40, I want to be retired from the grind, to put it bluntly. I want to be retired from the grind of working. When I work, I've been working now since for the last 10 years nonstop, and I'm working like 80 hours a week. It's getting to the point this year for me is the first time since I was 18 where I haven't been on tour my entire year, so it was amazing this year for me. But I would love just to get to the point financially where I can go on tour with my band and not worry at the end of every week, it's paying out to everybody in the band. I mean, I don't think people realize how much it costs to go on tour. If I have my band on the road with me, you're talking a couple of grand a head per week. So if you have 5 people in your band, there's 10 grand. If you're paying them 2 grand a week, depending on what way you've got to set up. And then you have got your tour bus, your fuel every day, your flights. My band live for everywhere in the world. They live in Rome and in parts of America and the UK. You've got your tour manager. You have to front up a lot of money for your merchandise before you go on the road. Your insurance, your advertisements. There's nothing guaranteed for a pay wage whenever you're a musician. And it's getting to the point now, I don't really enjoy that end of it anymore. At the start, I enjoyed the hustle of that, but I just want to go out and play music for fun. And I kind of miss doing that a bit, So that's where I want to be in about 5 or 6 years' time. I want to be in a place where I have enough other businesses set up that I can just go on tour and enjoy the music, and it doesn't matter if it makes a wage or not. That's where I want to be.
For the love of it, because early on, you were doing all the touring and the multi-cities and the tour buses and all the schlep of it all, the schlep, loving it, really enjoying it, learning a lot too. You've always come across to me, Keith, and even some of the other guys, that you really were early on in your life soaking up how the business works, the way to do certain things, the way to make the connections, the way to, work with the audience and other people. And you really learned quick and early at a young age. And that has helped you along the way too, right? A lot of people, they're still doing their thing and they're way older and they don't know what they want to do. And they haven't learned and they didn't soak up all the experiences early on, which will benefit you later on. And it seems like you've got a path that, can get crazy sometimes or maybe shift and pivot, but generally a clear path moving forward with your life, the people in your life, and with what you want to do with it all, including your music and your career, right?
Yeah, I mean, for sure, I learned a lot over the years. Anytime there was like any contract or anything happening, I wasn't the kind of musician who sort of just gave it to me lawyer and went, hey, can I sign this? Yes or no? I normally, to the point that the lawyers would always phone me up because they knew that I would nitpick at certain ththings. And when you've done that many albums and you've done that many contracts, every time we recorded a record with Celtic Thunder, there was a contract. Every time I recorded a 360 deal, it's called, with Verve, which basically they owned the silhouette of my face from the breath that came out of my mouth. So, from an early age, I sort of seen it from all angles, from the artist side. And I also love any business. I love business, so I love that side of it as well, luckily. But I think that's where a lot of musicians fail, is the business end of music, because it's called the music business. It's not called the music, it is a business, and you have to be shrewd is one word. And you have to realize, that when it comes to music, the music business, they all want their pound of flesh out of you, and you have to learn how to protect yourself and, make it good for you. But also at the same time, whenever I go on tour, I try my best to pay my band and my crew the very most that I can afford, and that's the truth. If I do very well on the tour, I always make sure that I give my band as much as I can at the end of the tour and give them a big hefty tip, which I never got on a lot of big tours that I was on, and I wouldn't be making the same amount of time that a lot of those bigger tours would be on, but I never got tips or nothing like that. So I always make sure that the people around me when I'm on tour, that they're well looked after, that I buy as many dinners for them as I can afford. And in turn, they'll play better for me and they respect me, in my decisions and what I do on the road, because they know I'm doing everything I can for them. And that's the kind of team that I've always had, or always want around me, But yeah, for sure, the amount of years that I've been doing it, I learned so much over so many different aspects. And I can't remember what the question is now, but that's the end of that ramble.
Yeah, that was really good, actually. It was really smooth. Do you see yourself teaching others, inspiring others? I know some folks say, when they're so skilled at something, as time goes on and time marches on, they have a desire to want to inspire and lift others, whether it's kids coming up the ranks or whatever it is. Do you have that desire to teach and mentor others upcoming?
100%. I've been asked lots of times to do talks at whether it be a university or stuff like that. And you just have, kids nowadays, I think they just see the Instagram account and they're like, oh, that looks cool. And I'm like, sit down. Do we have a little chat, my little musician friends? Buckle up, because you're going to pick one of the hardest jobs. The amount of hours that you're going to put in to be a musician, you could probably become a brain surgeon in half the time, which is definitely going to pay you. And you could spend 12 years, 15 years trying to become a musician, and you might end up with nothing at the end of it. But I'm actually working with a company now called stageit.com.
Right.
I do they're like an online broadcasting company, and they were one of the first to do it before everybody else started jumping on the bandwagon. Now they've been going for a good few years, and I was always doing online shows with Stageit. Not so many now as I was over the past few years. This year I'm doing 1 a week, 2 a week.
I think you were ahead of the game. You were doing it before. Now, a lot of people are doing it now with all this going on, but I think you were really ahead of the game and doing it way before a lot of the folks that are doing it now. I'm assuming that's a yes. We will find out in just a second, folks. He's thinking about that one. That's a deep question there. And, we go deep on this show. Light, love, levity, and levity. But he's been doing, a lot of people, are doing that sort of now, or they're learning how to do all of that with those types of online concert things. And they've never done it before because, again, everything is closed for folks that are performers. So, but he's been doing that actually for, as he was just saying there, for a couple of years. So
yeah, the company I've been working with, Stageit, they've actually started to actually work with the company now. They've brought me on almost like as an artist advisor on the board. They've brought three of their sort of favorite artists on to work with them.
Like I was saying, you've been doing it for a long time. A lot of the people are doing it now because they can't perform, there's nowhere to go, so they're going to those platforms. But I think you were ahead of the curve. You were doing it even way before pandemics and all that stuff. You were already hooked in.
Yeah, I've been doing it for 6 years.
I didn't realize that long. Wow.
Yeah, for quite a while. So in that sense, I was very lucky whenever all this happened. I already had it all sussed out and knew straight away where to go and how to do it. And, it's so funny, even simple things when you watch people doing their live streams and they're like sitting in the kitchen and there's like a bag of like canned dog food sitting next to them and like a turkey leg hanging off somewhere. And like, you can only see half their face and, their guitars are tuned and you're like, boys, there's more people watching you right now than probably any gig you've ever played in your life. So you need to like do it right. If you're not going to do it right. You
got to make it look good, right?
So basically, Stageit have brought me on as part of their advisory board now for the artists, and we're working on a bunch of different things. A lot of stuff I can't really say, to be honest, down the pipeline that we're working on, but I'm really excited. I think Stageit's a great company for a lot of the artists out there. If there's any musicians watching this, I feel you should definitely use Stageit over any one of the other artists because they've been around the longest and they do genuinely want the artists to do well. They want the artists to succeed. They want the artists to make revenue. They want the artists to make a wage, but they've also, Stageit right now are putting photographs up of their artists on the main billboard in Times Square. I don't see any other online platform doing that there currently. And even when I have meetings with them and stuff like that, they're so enthusiastic about anything, which for me, growing up and being in all these different sort of offices and dealing with a lot of music executives, these guys are like a breath of fresh air, and they really want their thing to succeed, because now, obviously, with the pandemic, there's more of a chance of it succeeding. But oddly enough, I feel like even after the pandemic now, whenever that is, sooner than later, hopefully, I feel that the online shows thing will be something that everybody's going to keep continuing doing it, because it's a great thing. I don't see why not.
Exactly. Like I mentioned, I started this entertainment lifestyle talk show series, which grew out of my continued work in television and radio all these years, host, presenter, the whole thing. And it comes naturally for me because I'm used to the technology, and we brought in the TV lighting and built this home studio and everything. And it's been awesome because, in addition to the people that have followed my work all these years on television, radio, and everything, there's all these new folks, and the reach is even broader, because then you can reach. I mean, I'm here in the States and you're there in Portugal, and we have people watching in South Africa, Australia, Ireland, Canada right now, Iceland, New Zealand, Switzerland, Asia. It's pretty cool stuff, isn't it? It's
yeah, I mean, it's the way, it's definitely the way forward. Hence the reason why I've been doing online shows for years. I always seen it as I didn't really understand why people don't do them more often. I'm obviously doing them now, like yourself, doing a lot more, because there's no real other outlets to put yourself out there. But like before the pandemic, I was only doing like a half dozen shows a year, maybe one every 2 months. But now I'm doing 2 a week. And I love doing them. If I could do more, I would, because people really, I think too, for people who are your fans, it's especially during this time, it's something for them to look forward to. It's something for them, it's almost like watching their Jeopardy on a Saturday. I've done it at the same time every week, and it's like a TV show, but just happens to be on a different channel, yeah. So it's an amazing thing. And I hope more and more people keep doing it, because, I feel like companies like Stage It and stuff like that moving forward are going to be as big as any of the other companies out there, like iTunes or Apple. Like that is the next generation of where it's going.
Absolutely. Hey, we've got a thumbs up from mom and dad.
Hawk, mommy and daddy.
Yeah. Or mom and dad. Mom, right? Not mom.
I don't say mom. I actually say my and dad. Ma, da, my.
Do you? Hey, you and I were talking, because my hair hasn't been cut since everything began. How long did it take you to grow yours? And you have this whole technique. You were able to put it up and like in 2 seconds like that.
Yeah, I've had my hair long now for quite a while. Like, I mean, like you're talking 5 or 6 years. Like even in some of those older photographs that you were showing there, it was down to around here. Like, so that was 5 years ago, easy. So give or take, I don't know.
So you just had it cut recently then?
I just had it cut about 3 months ago. I was starting. You remember Tom Hanks whenever he reaches the end of the pier?
Long there. Yeah.
In Forrest Gump, whenever he's got the big beard, and that's kind of how I was looking, minus the beard there for a while. So
like
I just decided
here. Pretty long.
Yeah, it was actually longer. It was actually longer than that, believe it or not. But it was to the point where it wasn't even good looking. It was just long and tatty and constantly in my way. I was wearing hats the whole time to keep it away. And it wasn't because, it's the funny thing about long hair, I feel, is people see a guy with long hair, and I feel like they think that you're almost very vain because you've long hair. And I can guarantee you that I spend less time in my hair than 99% of dudes out there.
Right. Because I don't
even comb it. I just get up in the morning and I'm like, all right, there it is.
And it just does its thing. I think it was longer here too. Not as long. That's still long, but not as. It was really starting, I think.
Yeah, that was a weird haircut. That was a bit of a mullet that was going on there. I'm not really sure what that one was.
Is that the Celtic Thunder days, that one?
That was, what show was that? Might have been Heritage, that show.
Yeah. So we were talking about things that you still want to do and things that you still want to accomplish. That's still on that Keith Harkin horizon, and teaching others and mentoring others. But you're quite the businessman too. We mentioned the studios, but you also have this really cool, these cabins I don't think people, not everybody, the real diehards, I'm sure, know about it, but the broader scope of people watching right now might not know that you have these cabins. And I was asking you before we went live on the air, how do you manage all these different things and businesses and everything going on at once? But it seems to be working out. Tell us about the cabins and all that you're involved in.
Yeah, so we bought this old property 5 years ago in Ireland, and it's a place called Glack House, or as the Americans say, Glack House.
Right.
And it was an old farm with a big old courtyard and all these beautiful stone barns and, old gardens. But when we bought it, it was just basically a farm. It needed a lot of work. It needed 5 years of work. So we bought it and started fixing it up here and there with no real intentions of creating a business around it. And then we decided to get married there on the property. So we fixed up and built a few things for our wedding and realized how amazing it was for an event as our wedding, how well it worked. So we decided to develop that plan and just dive in and invest everything we had into it. So we now have this beautiful big walled courtyard with a stage in the corner. We have these beautiful LA meets Ireland toilets. We talk about our toilets a lot because they took the longest to build, believe it or not. We spent a fortune on them. We've an older barn turned into like this beautiful communal kitchen for when you're staying. We have another barn turned into a full Irish bar with a big open fire, fully functioning, solid oak, old Irish bar. I used to actually drink at the bar. It came from an old bar in Derry City called Thran Maggie's. And then we have a few different outdoor areas with roofs over them. And then my father and I and another guy built these beautiful bespoke cabins, and all the cabins have log burners in them. They're very high-end, finished, Wi-Fi and all that. It's not like glamping. They're very pretty inside. And then when we have larger groups, we do these beautiful bell tents. And inside the bell tents look nicer than our house. They've all got these Persian rugs everywhere and lovely sheepskins and sort of very, very plush. Everything's very plush and very well laid out throughout the property. So we spent 5 years investing in that and building it. And I came up with most of the ideas there. Myself and Kelsey, we designed everything and we built everything ourselves. The only thing I didn't do was the electricity. We done everything else ourselves, the plumbing, and we done new roofs. We had to put heating systems in like from scratch. There wasn't even floors in the barns when we started. Shout out to my dad if you're watching. Daddy, thank you very much for all the help. But yeah, so that Glack House opened up in February. That's the reason why we packed up our stuff in Ireland and we moved back to Ireland to have whaling and open up. And then it shut down 2 weeks later because of the lockdown, as it does, And so all the weddings and bigger events that we had booked, we had to refund all that. Like every other business, it's been a strange year. So then in the middle of summer, Ireland opened back up again, and we decided to put our cabins on Airbnb. And because we didn't know how well it would do or how busy we would get, we mistakenly put them only on we allowed people a 1 night minimum. So you could book it for 1 night, and we had like so many people, one night every single day in every cabin. So Kelsey and I, and we didn't have anybody working for us because we didn't think it would be that busy. And it was all Irish people because, Irish people work very hard. They go on holidays and They had their holiday money all ready to spend. So they ended up spending it. It ended up being Ireland's tourism over the summer was one of the busiest we've ever had. It was all Irish people.
It's local, right? Yeah.
It was all local. And we were very grateful for it. And everybody that stayed there had an absolute blast. We had a few groups that stayed and would book the whole place out. And, we would have our own barman come in and they would bring their own kegs in. We've all the equipment for all that there. And that's what the place is made for. It's a very cool hangout spot for you and your friends. And it's on a wee island called Inch Island. And there's only one road on and off the island. So it's a very romantic place, and there's no neighbors looking in your door. And it's only $20 in a cab from Derry City. So if you want to go in, have a good night out in the city and eat at a decent restaurant, you can, and then come out and light the fire and party until the sun comes up,
Going to have to get these Lovities together and do a Lovity. We've talked about doing a Lovity cruise with the Jim Master Show Lovities. Maybe we have to get everybody together and head on over to the Emerald Isle and check it out and stay there. Maybe. I mean, that's really cool. That's a great idea to have gotten into that. And then the studio as well, where you do the recording. Do other artists, when you can, come in and use the studios as well? Did you create it so other groups
Yeah,
can come in?
that's what it's for as well. That's sort of double the reason why we have the cabins and we also have the bar and stuff like that, because most studios that I've ever recorded in aren't that pretty. They're normally in a big building with no lights, or like a TV station, like you would know, they're in an industrial area. And I wanted a studio that was like almost like a retreat.
Yeah.
I wanted a studio that when you get there, you just like fall in love with the place and
Kinda
it
like
inspires you. And, especially for like a group of musicians, you've got a wee bar attached to the studio, an Irish pub with a fire lit, and somebody hands you a pint of Guinness at the end of a long day in the studio, and you go and stay in a cozy cabin and you wake up and walk straight back. I mean, for me as a recording artist, that is the dream kind of scenario to record a record. So that's the reason why I went. So it's not just like a lot of musicians say they've got a studio at home. This is like a studio. The actual building's bigger than the main house itself. It's a huge, it's a proper recording studio. You could record probably like a 20-piece orchestra in the main room. You could do a small broadcast or anything that you would like from it. A few different companies, online companies, actually have reached out to me and make it a like their online studio in that area for broadcasting and stuff like that. Since the start of the pandemic, so I've kind of been working on a few ideas there as well.
That's really, really cool. So you have Ireland must love you, because you're keeping Ireland busy, and they're
all new businesses. So
that's what I mean.
Here, so whenever hopefully when we can all open up again soon enough, we'll get people in there. But like, I didn't just create them as a business, just to make money. Like, we did build our place for people to enjoy. We love seeing people going in there, and we love seeing people enjoying the place. Like, that is the reason why that's the reason why we bought the place. It's a beautiful place, and we want to share it with people the same way with the studio. I want people to walk in and get the same vibe from the studio that I get, and I know they will. So that's kind of a part of the reason as well, why we've brought lots of people to our place. It's nice for us seeing the place through fresh eyes all the time. You kind of take it for granted a bit when you're there all the time, and then you see people walking in, they're like, is this our bar? Can we hang out here tonight? I'm like, yeah, this is all yours. And so, so that's a part of the reason as well why we've done it.
Cool stuff. Did you want to sample another song, maybe a holiday song or something? They're all asking about that. If you had something else you wanted to throw in.
Yeah, I haven't even thought about that. Let me have a think. A holiday song,
especially since the Wi-Fi seems to be hanging in there now.
Oh, you cursed it.
I know, I shouldn't say anything.
What's that song?
When I was small and Christmas trees were tall, we used to laugh. We used to laugh. Others used to play.
All right, I'm going to try this song. This is a song by the Bee Gees, believe it or not. I can't remember what it's called. Apples? God almighty, it's on my record. The name's completely left. As you can tell, I haven't played it since last Christmas. It goes like this. When I was small and Christmas trees were tall, we used to laugh whilst others used to play. Don't ask me why, the time has passed us by, when someone else moved in from far away. And we are tall and Christmas trees are small, and you don't have the time of day. And you and I, our love will never die, but I guess we cry come the 1st of May. The apple tree that grew for you and me, we watched the apples falling one by one. And I recall the moment of them all. I kissed your cheek that day, you were mine. And we are tall
and Christmas trees are small. You don't have the time of day, and you and I, our love will never die. But I guess we cry come the 1st of May. When I was small and Christmas trees were tall. Dee, 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 dee.
I haven't played that one in a while. Apologize for the bum notes there.
No, that's great. I like the little extras at the end. That's what you call bonus footage on the DVD. Bonus footage. You've heard that a lot, haven't you, over the years? Yeah. All the bonus footage.
Oh, you just love doing that bonus footage.
Yeah. So beautiful from Petra. Jan says, love this. You two have definitely brightened up my Saturday. Thank you. Merry Christmas to all from Denver, Colorado. Juanita with us in South Africa. Good catch. The New York Mets could use you. Love this song from Juanita and Meg. Thanks for another amazing show, Jim. You couldn't go wrong. Talking to Keith, we love him. Absolutely. That's why we invited him on. And Christy loving it. Kim loving it. So smooth. Merry Christmas. You've been on my mind. Beautiful. Fell in love with this song first time I heard it. Awesome. What a beautiful treat today, Keith, and all of his stories. Such a good voice and a guitar and storyteller as well. And, a lot of people have been also on this show, everybody sort of opens up. This is like a conversation. It's not at all like an interview where we have all these scripted questions and it's all the same old, and you just in and out in 2 seconds and nobody really cares. It's a lot of people have been opening up about their lives and saying things like they needed this today. Somebody lost a family member. Somebody's been ill. For you, some of the artists, some of the folks that I've interviewed and had conversations with lately have been telling me things like when this first started in, the springtime, March or whatever, the Zoom and all these different things that people have been doing, they sort of liked, they learned how to do it. They've embraced it, but they're sort of growing out of it. Like they need to be in front of people. They need to hear the roar of the crowd. They need to see the faces. They need that contact. So even though they have these opportunities to do these things online type of stuff, they're really missing being on stage, being amongst people, hugging and high-fiving and all of that. And a couple of them had said that they've even, because of the lack of that and so much of who they are has been invested in that, they've even had bouts of like anxiety and depression, and it's like totally erased. They're not getting that fill in their soul that they would normally get from the performance. How about you? Have you gone through any of that a little bit here and there?
For sure. I mean, I'm a performer. A lot of singers walk on stage and they know what they have to do to make a crowd happy. I literally go on there and perform, and I give you, it's not something I've rehearsed, it's a performance. So for me to do that, it gets better. My performance will get better the more people I can see enjoying it. That gives me that fuel to perform more and more and give you more. The more you give me, the more I'm going to give you, and that's not through intention. That's just, I can't control that. That's just the way it is, like if someone thinks you're really funny and they keep laughing at your jokes, you're going to feel great about yourself and keep telling better jokes, or try to anyway, but throughout this time, yeah, for sure, there's been times. I mean, I've been doing my Sunday sessions. I've called it now every week, the online shows, and they are amazing for me to get to do it. I'm really enjoying doing them, but at the same time, there is times where I'm sitting there and I've just, I've played a great song and I open my eyes and I just realize, I'm in a room staring at a camera And it is heavy, you know, it's really heavy, and it's good to talk about these things. You know, I've spent my entire life, my entire adult life, trying to get where I am today, to be in front of people. That is the whole purpose of my job and my career, is to perform in front of people. That is what being a musician is, you know, to make people happy through music, and not only just on a phone or an iPad, but, you know, or an iPhone, but also to be in the room and give someone that special gift of music, you know. So for sure, it's a hard thing. And I also have been talking to friends of mine who are musicians, pretty big time musicians, and they've been talking to me about some of the online stuff, and they're just saying how some of them just say they can't do it at all. You know, they're just like, I can't do it. It's just so the opposite of what they're used to. But I feel like if you take it almost with a pinch of salt, in the sense that, you know, it is what it is. There's nobody in the room with you, and you just have to imagine that they're there. And the thing I know about doing these online shows is it's getting me to play music every week, which I probably wouldn't be doing. You know, every week I'm sort of creating an idea for a show, whether it would be like this week tomorrow I'm doing the entirety of Mercy Street. So I have to actually sit down and go through that record again, and it keeps my chops good. It keeps my singing good. But not only that, it gives people something to do. Like I was talking about earlier on, I feel like my shows anyway, there's the same group of people tuning all the time. And I actually have quite a big audience that some weeks it's bigger, some weeks it's little, you know, it's like everything else. But for them, I can tell how much that it's keeping a lot of people sane, in a sense. And I feel it's almost my duty to perform every week. I haven't missed one Sunday since the start of the lockdown, whether I've been tired or exhausted or not feeling great. And for the main thing, it's they get a big kick out of it. But for sure, it isn't the greatest all the time. You know, when you're sitting there in a room on your own, and it's just like, you kind of, you know, the reality of where you were to sit in front of a computer on your own, you're kind of going like, how did that go from there to back to doing this? You know,
a total stop.
So, yeah, it's definitely a strange thing, but. Like I say, if you just take it with a pinch of salt, it's a different thing. I'm not looking at it now like performing in front of a room with people. That's a completely different thing, you know. I feel like the online shows, because of the last year and because of next year as well, because I hate to tell people there won't be many tours going out next year as well. Yeah. I honestly can't see me getting on tour until maybe 2022. I don't know yet, but one thing I do know is that all my booking agents for next year, I haven't even really heard from them. Every time I message them, they're just like, you know, a lot of the venues aren't even bothering opening up, because the way a tour works is like, say I book 70 shows over three months, say, or 2.5 months. Like if Washington and New York decide they shut down in the middle of my tour and I lose out in 20 shows, that means the tour is not viable anymore, and I have to shut the door and go straight home, because you can't keep doing shows and lose thousands every week and then take 2 weeks off in the middle, pay your band 2 weeks' wages, pay your band to fly home or whatever, and just sit in the car park at Walmart in Boise, Idaho for 2 weeks, and then hope that no other states close down. You know,
it
doesn't work. Sadly, It doesn't work.
Right, because not everybody's on the same page with it, and you know, people are saying they're enjoying the online as well, which has been very helpful in bringing people down, and I'm not bringing them down, bringing them up, getting them together, which is really important. And I think that's what it's all about: finding ways to pivot and to morph and to, you know, move forward, because nobody could have predicted. I say that the only people that could have scripted what's gone on in this, you know, this started in like January, February, March, and it feels like it's been going on for 15 years. It doesn't feel like it's been like 7-8 months. It feels like this has been like a decade. The stuff that's going on hasn't happened in like 100 years or whatever, and we got it all thrown at us in like 7-8 months time. Really extraordinary. They're going to be, you know, writing about this in the history books in perpetuity. I say the only people that could have scripted this particular year would have been Steven Spielberg, Stephen King, or Rod Serling, who created the Twilight Zone. That's about it.
Yeah, it's a hard pill to swallow for sure. You know, I sadly was in the depths of COVID-19 before it even really kicked off, because my sister Rebecca was on that ship in Japan.
People
The
were
time
asking about Rebecca, some of the comments coming in, and
so
she actually,
she was on that ship trapped. And that was the biggest, after Wuhan, that was the biggest place in the planet that had it, and they didn't even know what they do with it. So my family and I, we were completely, if I could have swam there and pulled her off the boat, I would have.
Right.
And for her, it was terrifying, because they didn't really understand it then. No one knew how deadly it was. They basically didn't have food or water for them. They were in a cabin with no windows. They would hear the sirens pulling up and people getting wheeled off. Sometimes corpses sat off the boat, So I was sort of well involved with it all before it kind of kicked off. And when I was on tour in March, I remember all the meet and greets that were organized for before the shows. How a meet and greet works. It's a meet and a greet where people grab and take photographs and stuff like that. And I knew it was all sold already, and it was only starting to murmur in America, and I was going to the promoters and I was like, look, dude, I'm really sorry, but I don't think it's smart with what's going on right now. Not only for me, but I'm going to a different city every night and being like a super spreader. And if I catch it and then and I hug 50 people, they're going to go, what are you doing? And then a lot of people were kind of like laughing at me for it. And they were like, Keith. And I was like, look, I think I'm doing the right thing. And I was, because the news hadn't really hit America yet. And I was already dealing with that a couple of months prior with my sister. And I was right. We ended up only getting 5 shows into the entire tour of 30-something shows, and having to send my crew back home and pay for my van to get the whole way back to California, and it was a nightmare. But Steven Spielberg for sure would have had a field day with this one.
Yeah, right. Exactly. But you're keeping busy. You're writing. You have your family. One blessing is that you have time with your family. Where maybe if you were touring and doing these other things, you would be called on the road and you wouldn't be as accessible. And it would be, you've got a young child, you've got your wife, you've got these things you're working on. So it's giving you, if there's a silver lining in any of it, and I always try to look for that silver lining, is the family connection. A lot of people reconnecting with their friends, their family, who maybe they haven't even been able to connect with because life has been so busy. This earth spins faster than it ever has. Got to be there, got to do next, got to be number one, got to be the best. Where we headed next? Crazy stuff. And, the fields that you and I are in demand that of us all the time. Get out there and do it. Come on, make something happen, and do it again tomorrow, and do it tonight, and do it on the holidays. And so now, and you can spend time with your child and your wife, and there you are in beautiful Portugal cooking. And
I wouldn't be sitting here right now. This is the first Christmas since 2007. I haven't been on tour
since now. 2007, since Celtic Thunder, yeah.
And I would be sitting in a car park somewhere right now, getting ready to walk into a venue, some dirty venue or something like that, which I do love doing. But yeah, 100%. Growing up, most people go to college, and then before college, they would do the gap year and travel for a long time. And I've traveled my whole life, but never got to really do it for pleasure. Anytime I went on holidays, it was for like a week or 10 days, and I'd be like my friends who are traveling for months. I'd be like, I have to go back to work. So this year for me to get to hang out that's the longest I've been in Ireland as well, in over a decade. And even this trip alone, like, for me, it's an absolute blessing. I haven't ever got to do anything like this, and after the summer, we worked so hard over the summer, and then with everything chopping and changing again, the rules back home, we decided to close our businesses. And just like I said, the Monday night before the big lockdown happened in Ireland in October, I was sitting watching the news and realized that everything was going to get locked down again in 2 days. And I couldn't sleep that night, and told Kelsey the next morning. And I was sitting on the stairs with a laptop, and Kelsey was like, book the next ferry, let's go. And I was like, are we really doing this? And I was like, shit. And I just sat there and booked the next ferry, which was the next morning from Rosslare, which was 6 hours drive from where we were.
And
And
you
we
had
spent
been to Portugal before? You visited? You've been there?
Been to Portugal, but like not traveled it in a van, so I didn't even know how accessible it was. But we actually had to get the ferry to Spain. So we packed the entire day. I was literally finishing parts of the van, screwing parts together, like rewiring the fridge and stuff like that. I built the whole van myself, piled everything into it, drove all night. And it was a 32-hour ferry to Spain. And we hung out in the north of Spain, drove down through there for a few weeks and drove the whole way around Portugal, the whole way down into the Algarve. And then we came back up now. We're about a half hour outside Lisbon on the coast. I never would have had this opportunity. I never even would have given myself this opportunity had I been able to. So I'm 100% cool with what's going on right now. You know?
Yeah, absolutely. There's a silver lining, like Christy says. There's a silver lining to everything, which is really, really true. And that it's all in how you look at it. You know, you look back at your experiences, you look back at the things that you've done, the accomplishments, more to come. And we've been doing that with these fantastic shots here. Just to review a little bit, some of these cool shots. I mean, I thought I had many looks too. The many looks of Keith Harkin. You keep reinventing, which is what it's all about. We didn't mention this one in the round. Some people have mentioned that they'll love that album. Tell us about that one too.
Yeah, that was recorded in an old church in Venice Beach. That was a live recording over one night. We recorded it in Venice Beach, and that was it. A guy called Jorge recorded it, and there was actually a DVD that was shot that night as well, but it ended up in litigation with an old record company, and it's now 4 years old and it's sitting on a shelf, and they spent over $100,000 on it, and it's really sad because it's amazing, and they shot it in this old church, and it was like there was a crew of like 30 people. You know,
yeah,
it was a proper shoot. It wasn't two guys in a camera getting to do things again. It was pretty insane, and it's sadly sitting there on a shelf somewhere on a hard drive. But I got the album off it, and that is the album. That album also reached #1 on World Music Billboard charts, and it also reached #5 in Barnes and Noble bestsellers and a bunch of other things as well. And the thing I like about that live record is it's an actual live record. A lot of people nowadays, you say it's a live record.
Yes.
Recorded over the space of 30 shows, and then they pick the best songs over 30 shows. We just done one show one night, and that's what it was. You know, that was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's cool. Any chance of that resurrecting, maybe, or that working itself out? Maybe?
Yeah, I mean, I actually have an opportunity. I have to buy it off them. But the thing is, for me, it's 4 years old now, and I don't even look the same in it. And it's different if it was an album. You know, I feel like a DVD.
Yeah,
is a different thing, and it still needs quite a lot of money spent on it still yet. It's basically finished, but it needs coloring and stuff like that. And I don't know if I want to invest so much money in something I'm not going to get the same back out of. You know, it's you know, if it was finished and I didn't have to go through so much litigation and headache, maybe, I don't know, who knows. You know, I'm not saying I'm not going to do it, but it's a crying shame because it's very good. It's a really cool documentary style DVD with about 14 songs, and there's interviews throughout it, and it's really well shot. There's footage of me surfing on there, and it's really, really cool, like very, very cool.
Hey, look who's watching.
Emmett O'Hanlon, you sexy big beast.
Happy to be a fan of both you guys. Hey, Emmett. Emmett was with us last night for another epic conversation and crack and performance, and had his home there in New York, right not far from where we are. We had a good time. And Emmett was mentioning too, you know, a lot of his friends in the opera world, they had all these gigs. And if you guys want to see what we did with Emmett, he was last night on the Jim Masters Show Live, so you can see that. And if you want to see Ryan and Neil and Damien and Paul and Chloe and Renee Nesbitt and Phil Coulter, it's all on the Jim Masters TV channel there on YouTube. Emmett had mentioned he was sort of lucky because of his gig in Germany, but a lot of the American friends had all of these incredible gigs, multiple gigs in opera at all these great houses, and all of it came to a stop, and some of them have lost like $100,000 in pre-booked gigs that they would have generated, stuff that was already set up in this year, and then whoosh, it all just came to a total stop.
Yeah, I mean, I had 30 shows booked in March that we were working on from September last year. And then Kelsey and I had a tour booked that Kelsey, myself, and Waylon were going on. We were doing a tour up the whole West Coast, the whole way up into Canada for 7 weeks. That was booked, cancelled. And then we were supposed to be going out. In October last year, Brett Denon, who's an amazing singer-songwriter from the West Coast, and a guy called Austin Jenkins, who is a guitar player, was a guitar player for a band called White Denim. He's also a producer. He produced Leon Bridges last year. He produces everything for Leon Bridges. He won the Grammy last year for Leon Bridges' record, the R&B record of the year in the Grammys. And I convinced those two guys to come to the studio over in Ireland in October last year, spent a fortune recording the record. I was supposed to be on tour right now with the release of that record. And I have that record sitting there over a year now, sitting on a hard drive as well. And, people keep asking me to release it. But, it is sadly the business end has to come in there. We spent so much money on the album, that we have to actually get ready to go on a tour and promote it and give it an actual push so that it doesn't make money, that it doesn't cost, it covers its cost basically. And it's a fantastic record. And I feel very guilty for because of Brett and Austin coming all the way to Ireland and recording it with me, even though they know that I want to release it, but there's nothing we can do about it. So yeah, for me as well this year, I had 3 big tours planned, the release of a new record, and it's all kaputs.
I think that word kaputs is universal in any language, no matter where you are around the world. Kaputs is kaputs. But when you do look at all of these blessings that you've had in your life over the years, and now we know the secret that you're a lot taller than in that shot. Say there was another world exclusive announced here on our show. Keith is like 9 feet taller than he is in that shot. But all these beautiful blessings that have come in your life and all the things you've had an opportunity to do and continue to do, my friend, again, and going back to even for those joining late, they've been asking about it. The first time we had met in America at public television when I was interviewing you guys, which was really a blessing. And then backstage, emceeing a lot of the concerts with Celtic Thunder. Boy, you and I look the same. We just have a little more facial hair, maybe. My hair is a lot longer, but I think
we got that X factor. You know what I mean?
It's that Irish blood, I think, that really does do it. But a lot of good times. And again, all these experiences that you've had and continue to have. Like I said, I think you've really soaked it all up. You paid attention. You watched. The fans love you. You continue to create. What I really love is you're really soaking up life. Congratulations, an American citizen, your baby, your wife. I mean, really cool things. It's a full circle situation going on here with much more to share with all of us. And you're doing it the right way. And you know what it is? Which there's like a theme to all of this, my friend. You're enjoying it. You know what I mean? You're sort of doing it your way as best as you can. I mean, you have to deal with certain ways that things are done in the industries, and there's certain ways and things you have to follow and all, but you've been able to manage to carve out a way and a path that is uniquely Keith's path. Still, dabbling in the worlds where you got to do certain things according to what they want and what you need. But you early on said, well, actually, there's a mission that I'm on. There's a life's purpose that I got here. I really want to follow that, and it's calling me. And you've stuck to that path, which is really inspiring for other people watching who might not be doing that or think that they can't do that in their lives. And they don't have to be artists or musicians or TV hosts or anything else. Just it gives people reason to be inspired that you have to follow your heart, follow your dream, and be your authentic self, right? And you're doing that beautifully, my friend.
100%. I wouldn't change a thing in my life. People always say to me, if you could change anything, I'm like, nothing. Now, that doesn't mean that it's been perfect. That doesn't mean it hasn't been a struggle. That doesn't mean many's a day you don't question what the hell are you doing, but I wouldn't change a thing. I've had and I know how lucky I am, trust me, I do. I always have this saying is like, remember, it could be your last. Right. Treat everything like it could be your last thing. If someone was to give you your favorite piece of pizza and you knew it was the last bite you're ever going to have in your life, you would make it count. If you knew it was the last time you're going to hug your mother or father or your loved one or someone, you would make that hug count. And I try my best to remind myself of that on the daily. Remember, it could be your last.
Right. That's a beautiful way to look at it. That's absolutely a beautiful way to look at it. And everybody saying they're having a great time with us here on the show. And, my friend, this has been absolutely incredible. Do you know that we've chatted for almost 3 hours?
I did not know that. No, amazing. That's great.
Everybody says that. They're like, my God, it doesn't seem like it, because it's just, it's not an interview. It's a conversation. And with the music and the craic and all of that. And I agree with Petra. Living life on your own way is the best. Kind of like Frank Sinatra saying, right? I did it my way.
Did it my way.
You're going to be able to say that. Denise says, Keith, you choose to see the bright side in everything. And we so appreciate. Just want to show people a couple quick things here as far as the stage it, of course. We showed that a couple of times that happens. The Instagram, if you want to learn more about Glack House, as they say it over here. And how do you say it?
Glack House.
Glack House. I always had a little, a lot of people say that the Irish sound similar to Canadian a little bit. There's a correlation between the way it sounds. I was telling, I don't know if I mentioned it to Emmett. I think I mentioned it to somebody last week. My father's mother's family came over from Ireland. They settled in New York. His father's family came over they were from England. Masters is an English name, but his mother's side, all Irish. And for the life of me, growing up, my father has always said, film. So film. So I would say, hey, Dad, no, it's not film. There's not an extra syllable in there. It's film, film, nice and smooth. Film.
When I watch a film.
Film. That's they got to put some film in the camera. So he must have heard that growing up in New York, from his grandmother, and coming over, the certain words that they say. And it was really interesting because here I am years later, I'm actually live on public television, and who's in the studio? Ronan Tynan. And it was during the Irish tenors period, and I'm interviewing Ronan. So Ronan, who's also 9 feet tall, he's talking about paparazzi and picture taking and everything, and how, the Irish tenors were taking off at that time and all. And he mentions, and they, those camera guys, they use a lot of film. And I'm standing there and I'm looking at him, and we're live on TV, and I couldn't necessarily acknowledge it, but I'm like, how the hell have I heard that before? But wait a minute. And then I realized that, and then somebody said to me, I interviewed 2-3 weeks ago, that the word film comes more from Northern Ireland, like in southern parts of Ireland. They don't necessarily say film. They might say film or something, but Northern Ireland definitely says film.
South for sure.
Yeah, they add in the extra syllable. How do you say? Do you say film?
I mean, it's so funny now that I've been home for a while and haven't been in LA for 10
Well, you're an LA guy, so you probably go, film.
When I'm in LA, I just realized that I've given up with my own accent. It's not because I've always kept my accent. It drives me mad when I hear people who've been living in America for 6 months and they talk like American. They're like, hey guys, hi, how are you? Yeah. Hi. And I'm like, wait a minute. Shut up. You do not sound like that. You've been living here for 3 weeks. You don't really talk like that. I've never had to change my accent, but what I have is, you have to change certain words. Like we say, like if you say house in California, you might as well say it 400 times and people will just look at you and they'll go, I still don't know what you're saying. So you have to say house. You have to say, you say towel, I say toil, like film, toil, film.
Yeah.
And if you're in a hotel and you wake up and you're hungover and it's 9 a.m. and you're on the phone going, please, can you bring me some towels? They're going to keep going, what? And then eventually you're going to go, A towel. Can I have a towel? Thank you.
Right. Well, it's amazing how some of the artists, English, Irish, what have you, when they sing, unless, I guess with Celtic Thunder, you hear the Irish accents, things of that nature. But a lot of times, a lot of artists, especially the English artists, when they sing, they lose the English accent and they almost sound like they're from America.
That's an easy thing. People don't realize why. At the end of the day, look, the blues came from America. The blues and R&B came from the States. Rock and roll came from the blues and R&B. And rock and roll was invented in America. Simple as that. All of you listen to the Beatles or the Rolling Stones, they weren't listening to Irish music as much as they weren't listening to any, rock and roll was invented in America. And that is the most popular music that the world has ever heard. Country music also came from America. Two of the biggest genres in the world. And it just happens to have an American accent. Hence the reason why it's influenced so many people. Also, the American accent, it's a nice accent they actually sing. It's got a lot of towel and round words as opposed to hard syllables, And
You're the second person. I was interviewing somebody from England who said exactly that, because he started singing. And then I asked him after, how do you do that? You totally lose the English, the British sound. He said, it's the rounding of the words. We round it. And that's what allows us to, the accent disappears. And it almost sounds like we're from America, because there's so many artists that are from the UK and Ireland and other areas. And people here sometimes are shocked. They're like, they're not from here. They're not from New York, LA, Nashville, Chicago. They're Boston. They're from, Europe. And it's really cool. It's really amazing.
Yeah, that's where it is. In the same way, like when I hear country music in America, country music to me just sounds like Irish music. Something like that. Bluegrass to me is Irish music. Country music is Irish music. It's just like, an Irish song is normally a depressing song. It's about somebody dying and, hard times. And most country songs are about hard times and their stories. And I'm pretty sure that's where that crossover came from.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. My friend, before we wrap here, what are some of the blessings and joys that continue in your life that push you forward to do the work that you do? Obviously, you have your beautiful wife and your child and family, which is numero uno in anybody's life. But what are some of the other things that push you forward to continue to do what you do and have done all these years?
I love the challenge in life. I think life is a challenge. And I think in an odd kind of way, we all can either accept the challenge and go for it, or we can lay down and just sort of take what life gives you. And I love the challenge of life. I love seeing something. I mean, like, I want that and I'm going to try and get it, or I have an idea and I'm going to try and push it. I'm very, very grateful for fans and people loving my music. I'm very grateful that I have a voice that can actually sing. I'm very grateful of hands that play the guitar. And that's kind of all I love in life, is the challenge of life. And I wouldn't change a thing that I've done so far.
Beautifully said. You get what the program's all about. You get the deal. You understand, what life's all about. And that's the cool thing. That's the cool thing, my friend. And that's why, people love your work and they love being around you. Meg says, thank you both for an amazing conversation. Keep safe and stay well. Thank you, Meg, for tuning in. I've really enjoyed the show. Jim and Keith, thanks so much. I'll be back. Terrific. We're here. Matter of fact, folks, I'll be back in 1 hour at 7 p.m. Eastern with jazz vocalist Tammy McCann. I'm going to have to eat fast, but this is awesome. I love conversations like this. I too wouldn't change anything as well. Keith, thank you both so much. It's been a lot of fun to listen to. I hope to see you on the road 2021, Keith. Fingers crossed. Thank you, Kathy in Cleveland. Carol says, this has been a fabulous interview, Jim. Keith, you're the best. Love you. Love your music. Always have enjoyed this time so much. Thank you for what you bring us. Love and hugs. Carol Marie, thank you again for the time shared. Keep making amazing music and enjoy the family experience. Denise says, you've absolutely grabbed life by the tail and are going on quite a ride. Stay well. Love you, Keith. And yes, genuine gratitude. It's a gift. I agree 100%. Joey says, thank you both for a great show. We love you both. See you tomorrow, Keith. Absolutely. So glad you guys are here. Marsha Lyon, who you actually met numerous times. She used to answer phones for years in Connecticut Public Television, and used to go to all the meets and greets. She used to work those. Thank you for a wonderful afternoon of conversation, music. Thank you for sharing. Merry Christmas to you as well. Very nice, Joey. Thank you for those great comments. Christy, thank you, Jim and Keith. Stay safe and well. Have a very Merry Christmas to you as well. Julie, we love you, Keith. Thank you, Jim. Petra, watching on our YouTube channel, and anybody watching on YouTube, we'd love it if you subscribe to our YouTube channel, Jim Masters TV. You can see all the episodes of our series, like 200 plus episodes. We do this show live every single day. Today we're doing 2 shows. Tomorrow we're doing 2 shows. Yesterday we did 2 shows, and then Sunday night I'm going to collapse. Did I sign up for this? Thanks. I hope I get paid by the word. Thanks for this as well, and cool stuff. Nice comments. Let's see if we can get a couple more in here. They'll see you tomorrow, which is awesome. Bernadette, thanks for a great show to brighten our days. Our pleasure. Kim says, thank you, Jim and Keith, for a fantastic show tonight. And those of you watching in later time zones, we really appreciate it as well. And if you want to see this again, you can. And of course, now the Wi-Fi is working beautifully. It's you can see it on our YouTube channel, Jim Masters TV, and all the episodes. It's right there for you, and you can share it. You're welcome, Kim and Denise. Absolutely. Thank you very much, Keith. Hugs to Kelsey and Waylon. Have a wonderful, adventurous Christmas. I was saying, I think when you got knocked off the Wi-Fi, that I think the name Waylon is a really cool name. You don't hear that. I mean, the only other one that I've heard, and it's spelled different, and speaking of country, is Waylon Jennings, but it was Waylon. Really cool name.
His middle name's Dean. Waylon Dean. It sounds like a proper guitar player, doesn't he?
He's going to end up in Nashville.
Yeah, it's a killer name. It's like Waylon Dean.
Harkin. Hark the Herald Angels sing. Great conversation, Jim and Keith. Love you, Keith. I told you there's lots of levity coming our way here on the show, my friend. Soraya, thanks, Jim and Keith. Love you. Peace out, Christy. We'll see you guys again. Absolutely. I've enjoyed this chat so much. Thanks, Keith and Jim. Merry Christmas. They'll see tomorrow. Yep. Keith will be on tomorrow. We'll have our show tomorrow here. Thank you very much, Kathy. Merry Christmas to you as well. Blessings to you and your family, Keith, from Cape Breton, Nova Scotia. Good stuff. My friend, this is awesome. This was really amazing.
The pleasure has been all mine, and I hope you have, well, first of all, thanks for having me, and I hope you have a great Christmas, man.
Oh, you too, my friend, and we'll do another. You probably have an empty bottle or two there, but we'll got to do our slideshow. It's good to the last drop. I really appreciate all the time. This was really cool, and so glad we were able to put this together. Thanks to Jay for his help as well.
No worries.
Love to your parents watching, and Kelsey and Waylon and everybody. And you're definitely welcome back anytime. Of course, we don't have to chat. We don't have to chat this long. You can always come back for a quick hit, new things happening, new things you want to talk about. Keep the porch light on for you, my friend. A pleasure knowing you all these years. I'm glad that we, stayed connected. I wish you nothing but continued success. And I hope the show met whatever expectations you had, and you enjoyed your time with me as much as I have with you, Keith.
I've had a blast, and I really mean it. I hope you succeed at all the hard work. I know it's not easy doing everything that you're doing. I know the feeling. So keep the flag flying, and I'll come back for a chat sooner than later. Perfect. All right, my friend. You take care. You be well, and enjoy the family there in Portugal. And thanks for Merry Christmas to you. I'll chat to you soon. All right. Bye, guys. Go stretch those legs now. Stretch the legs. Goodbye. Ciao. Bye-bye. Wow. Was that epic or what? And really, I do have to quickly wrap up because I have another show at 7 p.m. I have another show in less than an hour. I want to show you real quickly. We have another incredible guest. This is a whirlwind weekend. Tammy McCann,
extraordinary jazz vocalist Tammy McCann is going to be live on our show, live from Chicago, in about an hour from now, 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific. It is 6 o'clock here right now, Eastern, here on the East Coast of the United States. And Tammy McCann, brilliant, brilliant guest. She is my very special guest coming up live from Chicago. It's going to be another incredible episode. I want to let you know as well, for those of you who didn't know, Sir James Galway is going to be with us this coming Friday. The incredible, world-renowned Irish flautist, 30 million albums sold. He and his beautiful wife, Lady Jean Galway, brilliant flautists. On Friday, December 18th, they are going to be on the show, and we love that. It's going to be a special birthday, actually, celebrating Sir James Galway's birthday, and a holiday episode as well. And a couple more incredible guests that are coming up. I want to let you know, in January, Nathan Carter, speaking about country music, English country star Nathan Carter is coming in January. Greek star, incredible singer and tenor Mario Frangoulis is going to be coming on our show in January as well. I interviewed him multiple times on public television. A week from tomorrow, Darren Holden, originally from Riverdance and the High Kings, he's going to be here a week from tomorrow. So that is not tomorrow, it's a week from tomorrow. So that is Sunday the 19th. He's going to be with us here exclusive. No, the 20th. The 20th. He's going to be with us here on our show exclusively. That's going to be 3 p.m. Eastern, noon Pacific, 8 p.m. GMT. So everybody watching in Ireland, Scotland, England, Switzerland, Portugal, Spain, you can get it at 8 p.m. That's going to be live with Darren. We have J. Robert Spencer coming. He was in Jersey Boys. He's an incredible singer-songwriter. He's coming this week. Also this week, renowned keyboardist, songwriter, and pianist and singer Bob Malone is going to be with us on Wednesday. Mezzo-soprano Celia Burke is going to be with us as well. She's going to be here on Thursday. Well, actually, she's going to be with us on Wednesday. The whole list is on our Facebook page. There's so many that it's easy to lose track. We actually have 2 guests coming on Tuesday. We have renowned choreographer and director Jeff Whiting on Tuesday at 4 p.m. Eastern, and then 7 p.m. Eastern on Tuesday, renowned keyboardist, pianist, and songwriter and singer Bob Malone. And then on Wednesday, Celia Burke is going to be here as well. She's an incredible singer. And then Lily Rolkrin is going to be with us. She's an amazing singer and songwriter and musician. Tomorrow, Jimmy Roberts, the world-renowned pianist and composer Jimmy Roberts, is going to be with us here on the show. That is tomorrow. Connor McGinty is here tomorrow. That's 3 p.m. Eastern on our YouTube channel. And then tomorrow night, famous Jimmy Roberts is going to be here. He is the incredible pianist and composer. He's going to be with us. There he is here. And let's see who else. Oh, the incredible singer, songwriter Meg Flather is going to be with us on Monday night. She's going to perform live. She's going to be here as well. The list goes on and on. We have extraordinary guests coming up. We've been doing this show 37 weeks. I'm your host, Jim Masters, of course. I think I said that a few times. And really absolutely brilliant having all of you with us. And if this is the first time that you've watched our entertainment lifestyle talk show series, this is awesome. This is born out of my career in television and radio as a personality host presenter, working really hard. I mean, I have another show coming up in 45 minutes. Thank you, everybody. Thank you very much, Mary. Spread the word about our show. We're here every day. We have our Facebook page, Jim Masters TV. I would love it if you love and like that Facebook page. I'm on Instagram at Jim Masters TV, Twitter at Jim Masters TV, Periscope and Twitch, Jim Masters TV, and also on Facebook, YouTube, YouTube, Instagram, Twitter. What, it was like Twitch and Itch and all these cool places. So you can find me on Twitch and Periscope, Instagram. See the bouncing ball? Twitch and Periscope and Instagram and Facebook and YouTube at Jim Masters TV. And Merry Christmas, all you as well. We love you, Kim, and hope you'll be back as a regular Lovity. All of you watching are now Lovities. You know that. Our Lovity crowd, our viewers, have welcomed all of you and Keith now into Lovity Hall. So you guys are Lovities. Marjorie says, looking forward to Nathan Carter. Absolutely. We'll keep you posted on that date. It's coming up real soon. We may also be having Orla Fallon, who is a brilliant singer who was with Celtic Woman, coming up in about a week. It's being put together now, so stay tuned. We'll announce that on our Facebook page. Also, our YouTube channel. You can go to our YouTube channel, and everything is there. You can see everything on the YouTube channel. Julie says, this has been so awesome. See you all tomorrow. Thank you very much. Roxy, keep on rolling. I love that. That's positivity. Bernadette says, everyone stay safe, stay well. You too. Kathleen, you as well. Thank you, Mary. A lot of cool things coming up. You're so cute, Jim. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Celtic Caper Girl 1. And a lot of Irish crack. Really good, solid show today with my buddy Keith, huh? Good night, everyone. See you tomorrow. Wonderful. It's good to have you here. Welcome. Bernadette says, Jim, yet another excellent show. So glad my friends are becoming viewers and so glad continuing to get all the best on the guests. Thank you, Bernadette. Good night, everyone. See you tomorrow. Good to see you as well. Christy, welcome. Spread the word. Mary says, Jim, thanks for having Keith with you. The conversation, stories, music, and crack have been awesome. Best to you always. Thank you very much. It was a pleasure. He and I have been putting this together for about a month and a half, and it's been great. Pamela says, thank you for Keith. Absolutely. Big hugs to Kelsey and Waylon. And Denise says, thank you again, Jim. Wonderful visit. Maybe able to be back in an hour. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. That's really, really cool. We would love that. I know. Got to wolf down that dinner real quick. Good night, everybody from Germany. We love Germany. Thank you for joining us, Petra. We hope you'll join us again here on the Jim Master Show Live. And if you miss anything, you can see all the episodes on our YouTube channel. It's all the episodes. If you missed anything or you want to watch it again, all the past episodes of the Jim Master Show Live are available on our YouTube channel, Jim Masters TV. We'd love it if you subscribe to the channel. Click the notification bell so you don't miss anything as well, because we put a lot of content on there. I also do these positive inspirational videos called Masters Mantras, separate from our show. So you can check that out as well. Amazing. Thank you, Jim. My pleasure, Carol. And thanks for all of you, the street teams. We got to get a Jim Masters street team going. So some of you last night said we should do that. But the Keith Harkin street team and all the folks that love Celtic Thunder and love Keith and everybody, thanks for spreading the word too. And you did that with Emmett and you did it with all the others. You guys are the best. We love you too. Thanks for doing that. And we'll have them back and check out all the other. We had Melissa Manchester, the incredible music legend Melissa Manchester, on just a couple of weeks ago. Good night all. See you tomorrow. Merry Christmas, Joey, Juanita. Thank you, Jim, for another delightful evening. Great having Keith on. Get some sleep. Yes, you can watch it in the archives. Bye-bye, Keith. Thank you. It's such a pleasure to meet Keith's mom and dad. Love it, love it, love it. Thank you so much for all of the time and for watching. And again, just go through a couple of last-minute photos here. This is when we actually met for the very first time, and I was interviewing Keith. That's also Ryan Kelly there. When Keith was with Celtic Thunder, they were in the PBS studio, public television. And there's with Neil Byrne, and that's when we first met. And we had a lot of Irish crack in the television studio and a lot of fun. And we all stayed connected over these years. Celtic Thunder, Celtic Woman, the Irish tenors, the Celtic tenors, you name it. And there's the whole gang from there, and a lot of fun. And backstage, I'm seeing there's Colum and there's Damien, of course, and we've all stayed in touch as well. Cool information that he took that photo, huh? Some of these cool shots that we shared with you of our fantastic friend and our guest, Keith Harkin. And again, true blessings in his life. And of course, I wish you a Merry Christmas. There's yours truly as Santa Claus in New York City on stage. I was emceeing. I was in Master of Ceremonies, and then they asked me to play Santa Claus for a concert in New York City about 2 years ago, and that's about a year ago, actually. And that's Santa Claus himself. Of course, the lovely couple there, and all the blessings in the world. He's an American citizen, dual citizenship. That's a beautiful thing. Don't forget to follow him as well, and all the cool music and so much more. And this is a cool one as well. We talked about that one. And again, of course, his stages, and you can find out more. I really like that. I want to go to Ireland again, and I want to check out. There's, of course, the Instagram for that. And, there's cabins he was talking about. And, of course, his fantastic recording studio and all of his stages. He was live in Portugal, which was amazing. It was really funny. The Wi-Fi was sort of going in and out, but he and I are troopers. We don't give up. We just kept going, and it was awesome. It turned out beautiful. Thank you, Jim. Great show. Shirley, thank you very much. And night to you as well. We'll be back in a few minutes here with our next show. And we're back tomorrow, Sunday at 3 p.m. Eastern, and also 7 p.m. Eastern with 2 more great shows. Thank you so much, Jim. I love Keith so much. This show is the best. Awesome. Fantastic. Thank you, Soraya. Jim, go have dinner. See you back soon. I shall. You lovelies really watch out for me, and I appreciate that. Good night, Keith. Thank you, your family, and you be safe. Good night to all of you. Thank you, Kathy. Thank you, Jim. Have a fantastic evening. You too as well. Marsha, I'm so glad you were here. You and I have such a great history. And when this COVID thing is passed, we got to go to lunch again, my friend. Beautiful show in all ways. See you very soon, Christine Clifton in North Carolina, USA. Absolutely. Yes, we'd love to get Rebecca on. We're talking with Rebecca. She's an extreme talent as well. And we'd love to get Rebecca Harkin on the show too. That would be fantastic. She and I are sort of writing back and forth. She's in Australia. We would love for Rebecca to join us on the show. And, these shows originally were designed to be only an hour, but we have so much fun. It's just, we just let them roll. Bye, everybody. I think we all need this too right now, right? Thank you, Jim. Great show. People said when, we get past COVID and everything, am I going to continue these shows? Yeah, I love doing this stuff. I do this stuff in my career. So I love it. This is your host, Jim Masters, thanking you for your time this time. Till next time, we've got to eat something. Don't forget to smile and share your smile. Don't forget to share the lovity. Don't forget to find your Zen place. Mine happens to be with loving family and friends. Of course, family is number one, and friends, and also the ocean. Living here in the northeastern United States, along the coast, along the ocean. Love the ocean. Always swimming, surfing, boogie boarding, sailing it, walking it. Very in tune with the ocean. Also music and tennis and cycling and writing. And of course, my work in television and radio and stage as a TV host, presenter, journalist, actor, writer, producer, voiceover MC, voiceover artist, all these cool things, all the different places I've worked, continue to work with over the years. Positively awesome. And of course, my other Zen place is when we join here together on the Jim Masters Show live with our festive holiday set. We always do this at the end of the show as well. We say, relax, take care of one another, love one another, and be sure and love yourself too. It's very important to love yourself, not in an egotistical way. Just, know that you're here for a reason too. We all are. We're all here for an important reason, and we should cherish one another and spread the empathy. Tammy McCann coming up in about 50 minutes from now, live from Chicago. Can't wait. All right, gang, we're going to duck out of here. Thanks again to Keith Harkin for joining us. Really cool conversation and lots of Irish crack. I'll be back at 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific with our next show. We love you all. Again, having a ball doing these shows for you, our entertainment lifestyle talk show series. People ask, how can you help the show? Love that Facebook page at Jim Masters TV and Instagram page, Twitter. Subscribe to the YouTube channel and spread the word. Tell everybody about it. Tell everybody about our show. Thank you very much. Appreciate that, Mona and Mary. Great show, Jim. You've covered all Celtic Thunder except, yes, hopefully he's coming on soon. We've got a lot of surprises too. Good stuff, gang. You're very welcome, Shirley. We'll see everybody soon. Those of you who are joining us at 7 Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific, we'll see you in a minute. If you miss anything, you can always watch the shows on our YouTube channel at Jim Masters TV. Again, Jim Masters, thank you for your time this time. Till next time, we love you all. And thanks for joining us right here on the Jim Masters Show Live. Take care. We'll be back at 7 p.m. See you soon. Bye-bye.